And welcome to
Let's Talk About Book,
where we talk about book. And I didn't join you at that time either. Sometimes I just don't.
Once in a while.
Every once in a while I just don't join you on the Let's Talk About Book.
I'll just keep going.
Yeah,
I got it.
It's the right thing to do. I'm Smeevca.
And I am Strawberry.
And we're continuing
The Cradle.
Cradle, and
yes.
it's called Blackflame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it just called Blackflame?
It's just called Blackflame.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm like, I said we're continuing, and then I realized I didn't remember the name of the book.
Yep.
Because the last one was
Soulsmith.
Soulsmith. They're just all unsold.
Yeah.
They're all like, I learned to say unsold instead of Cradle, and now I only want to say unsold.
And we're only doing 2 videos for this.
Yeah.
Most likely. Unless this one ends up getting split in 2, but it probably won't. It'll probably just be...
Yeah.
Because we've read half of this book because I was impatient and I wanted to meet Orthos. I'm sorry.
It's true. It's true. You were like, we could read
like 3 more chapters and it would be half the book and then we could do the other half.
Yep. Yeah, so this is gonna be a long one.
Yeah.
And you wanna know what's funny? Because we kept saying like, oh, fucking Game of Thrones watchers, you should go watch our Cradle videos. But then the Game of Thrones videos have not been doing well. And in fact, the most recent Game of Thrones video has less views than the most recent Cradle video, which is hilarious. Yeah. It turns out getting like almost 200 views on one of your Game of Thrones videos tanks the rest of your Game of Thrones videos. It makes them not do as well, I guess. So, but I mean, also it's like we're just like in like the middle of the book and
we'll
shit.
See.
But it's just funny how that one for no reason
it was like almost 200.
It was like almost 200 views. It was crazy.
Yep.
But yeah.
And then we're back down to the 20s.
Yeah, we're back down to the 20s again, which is crazy because like they had been getting like 70 something views, and now they're just like getting like 20 views, and it's like yes, like the early Mistborn days, we're back to 20 something views.
But it's fun.
Yep, it's that small YouTube life.
It's great.
This is why we do this as a hobby.
Yep.
And not as a job. But yeah, so Blackflame.
Yes, Blackflame. I wonder why this book is called Blackflame.
Yeah, I couldn't possibly imagine. Yeah, I said that we were continuing as if we'd already started this book, but I think it's because we like read part of it and then read another little part of it.
Right.
And so
it feels like we should have already recorded the first section.
Right, but it's like, oh right, we're gonna have to be starting from like the beginning of this book and go all the way to the middle. But yeah, so we're starting Blackflame.
Yes, we are starting Blackflame. Continuing Cradle. So...
Continuing Cradle. Yeah. Starting Blackflame.
Yeah.
There you go. So I guess we should start.
Yeah.
With the first chapter. Chapter 1.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have 2 videos with Blackflame, and then we'll immediately switch to Skysworn, which is the next book.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So the start of chapter 1.
Well, we'll get to it.
What's up?
I was like, is Skysworn the name of one of the paths?
We have heard it's not one of the names of the paths. I'll highlight it when we get to it. Because it's been throughout, I think we've heard it mentioned maybe once or twice last book, and then we've heard it so far in the first half of this book probably 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to it. But yeah, we start out in chapter 1 with another information requested.
Yeah, the Path of Blackflame.
Yep, which is it's a bit of a corrupted report because there's like warning: significant deviations detected. Report accuracy compromised. Recommend renewed contact with iteration 110 to restore functionality. And then there's another at the like end of it. It goes. It's like talking about the Blackflame family, and we'll come back to the actual description in a second. It's the only remaining Black Flames are data not found. If their family and their path are revived, the consequences could be connection severed, restoring connection failure. Archived information regarding Cradle remains accessible, but analysis of current conditions and projections into the future will be disabled until contact with iteration 110 is restored.
Yeah, been away for a little too long to get an accurate sense of like where Lyndon is with his whole shit. seemingly.
Yep. That and there's like deviations and such.
Yeah, and I don't...
That aren't expected for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't know what that means.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing. Like, all this shit and the shit with Surreal that we, like, see Surreal sometimes, I'm like, we're gonna get to this level.
Yeah.
This level is going to be, like, important.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're probably gonna get there or, like, be involved somehow. It's not gonna be, like, Cradle is just... It might still be just about Cradle.
Yeah.
You know, but it'll be Cradle within the context of this, like, bigger bullshit that's going on.
Yeah.
I imagine. We're not just going to stay down here on Cradle and never, you know,
right.
interact with Surreal again,
right,
obviously.
Right.
So it's like we're gonna interact with Surreal again, and so, like, that makes me think that we're gonna get up to, if not her level, like, close enough to, you know, be worthy of notice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learn a little bit about the path of Blackflame and how it fucking is super powerful.
Yep.
And the Blackflame Empire used it to, like, conquer, but then it fucking eats you up from the inside.
Yep. It was originally, like, from black dragons. It was stolen from ancient dragons, and it's the art of pure destruction. Like, the humans that used it, their minds and bodies were just, like, completely eroded away.
Yeah, because it's like, if you're cycling pure destruction, I imagine it has a negative impact on you.
Yeah.
My body's full to the brim with pure destruction energy.
Yep.
This is totally fine and healthy and will have no negative consequences.
Yep. And then we get a little bit more about Blackflame later. And then it also kind of talks about, like, the fall of the Blackflame family. They, like, stopped ruling, and the Naru clan kind of took their place. And that's the current head of the Blackflame Empire is the Naru clan.
Yep.
But yeah, that's basically that beginning little information bit. And then we move on to we see Linden.
Yeah, Linden's doing a little bit of Soulsmith practice with Fisher Gesha.
Yes.
He's, like, extracting a thing from a remnant.
Yep, he's taking a binding out of a, like, dread beast and stuff, and is just kind of like
dread beast.
Yeah. Kind of examining it, and he, like, finds another, like, coil in it, that, like, a white coil that's different from the binding that, like, disintegrates as soon as he touches it. Yeah, Lyndon's like, I've seen these before, and Gesha's like, I've seen 1,000. When a dread beast eats an animal, the meat goes to its stomach. When it eats a remnant, the madra goes there, which is, like, that, like, little coil or whatever.
Yeah.
And so Linden, if this can steal and process madra like the Ancestor Spear does, doesn't that make that a treasure? Every dread beast has the material for a new spear. And so they're talking about the Ancestor Spear, and Linden wants to, like, make his own, and, like, Fisher Gesha is like, you're not ready for that. Like, if you think we could just, like, make that, like, we don't know, like, how, and he's like, I have these plans, that, because he, like, stole the plans, or, like, not stole them, really. He got the plans for the spear. And Gesha's just like, I know you have them. I found them, actually, and I have them here, but you're not ready for that, so. Yeah,
it's like, how about the answer is, duh, if we could do that, we'd be doing that.
Yep.
You know?
And there's also, like, with little bindings. In my grandmother's day, they tried such a thing. Used those bindings to make weapons and take power from the ones they killed. But it did to men the same things it did to them, the dread beasts. So it made them all, like, monstrous and stuff. But yeah. And then Fisher Gesha is just like looking at the plans. These are brilliant. They will provide you with years of study and inspiration. Someday. First, you must learn the basics.
Right, yeah. You gotta walk before you can run and all that.
Yep. If I may speak openly, honored Fisher, I was hoping to create a weapon according to these notes. If an infant wishes to forge a sword of his own, should his interest be encouraged? No, I will return these to you when you have learned to stand on your own feet as a soulsmith, and not before. Right,
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, that's fair.
Yeah.
So you can't expect to be able to, like, even, like, understand these sorts of plans at this stage.
And, like, Fisher Gesha doesn't seem to.
Right.
Like, she's looking at them and she's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are fascinating, but, like, I couldn't really do much with this.
Right.
And like, she's an experienced...
It's like handing someone a really technical, like, math paper and expecting them to learn how to do math
from it. Yeah.
It's like, no, this doesn't even mean anything to a lot of mathematicians.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of mathematicians have a hard time, like, going through it and following it and making sure it's correct and all that. Because that's always a big thing. It's like, anytime some sort of, like, new mathematic proof comes out, a bunch of people got to go through and check and make sure that it's, like, correct and shit. Yeah. So it's like, this is a really complicated process that has, you know... a lot of work has gone into, like, making these plans and to, like, making them work
and
properly.
you need to know a lot about a lot of different aspects of it to put it together.
Yep.
But yeah. And so then we see a bit of other stuff that he's worked on. He worked like a small, like, water construct thing that he made and stuff.
I just think about there's like there's these sets of, like, problems in, like, mathematics that have, like, a cash prize for if you can, like, fucking figure them out, because they're, like, the biggest questions in mathematics right now. And I know that, like, a couple of them have been solved, and I think, like, one of them, just, like, some random guy who wasn't, like, you know, like a professor, like a fucking mathematician in that sense, like, figured it out because he was just, like, some guy who lives alone and works on this stuff. And it's like, he makes a paper and it does solve it, but it's also, like, this long paper that's, like, hard to follow because it's not done the way that, like, a normal mathematician would do it. Yeah. And so it's like, it's
not like standard.
Right.
I'll say, like, standard notation. I don't know if it's, like, the proper, you know, term for it. But...
It's like, it's not, like, set up in the way that you would, like, normally do it. And so you have to, like, spend a lot of time, like, figuring out. And it's also, like, in Russian or whatever the fuck wherever this guy was, you know? Yeah. So, you know, it's like, you can,
or they reverse engier it, like...
you know, you can't just be someone who has, like, a passion for a thing and, like, figure out how to do it, but it's like, it's... Anyway. I don't know what point exactly I'm trying to make from all this, but, you know.
Yep. So there's just more of him, like, working on soulsmithing stuff. And Fisher Gesha wants him to make a launcher construct, which, like, he gets
the most basic kind of like construct, essentially.
Yeah, she's like, what would you make out of this binding or whatever? And it's like a striker binding, whatever. It's just like simple something. And he's like, well, if you did this with an arrow, you could do like a timed thing where it does this. And she's like, it's a launcher. That this, like, you think that it didn't have an answer? It did have an answer. It was a launcher. Make a launcher construct.
You're right.
And he's complaining because he's like, normally with soulsmithing, you need to, like, check all the, like, if everything's compatible and this or that or whatever, unless it's a launcher. And he's just very...
Right, because a launcher's basically just, like...
It's just a box with a technique in it, basically.
That you, like, put Madra into it.
Yeah, and it'll...
do the technique.
And it'll, basically, like a gun, shoot it out, or whatever.
Yeah.
Most basic, whatever, and, Fisher Gesha has copper for dummies... for him, and or not copper for me.
It's like
soulsmithing for coppers is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, so essentially soulsmithing for dummies.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Copper for dummies.
I was like, that's not right.
That's very funny though.
Copper for dummies. Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he successfully makes, like, a launcher construct, and he's like fine or whatever, but he's not happy about it. He's like, because it's like, it doesn't enhance it, it doesn't do anything different, it just, like, holds it and, like, launches it forward. That's all it does. Yeah. He's basically like, you should just, instead of forging it into a construct, you might as well just have a box with a binding in it and just set the binding off whenever you want to use it. Like, what's the point of making a construct out of it?
Right. Yeah, it's so funny because it's like, at another point in his life, he would have been so excited to even just do this, but he's now in this world where he's like, you know, but he's always wanting to...
He always wants more. He always wants the next thing.
Yeah, he doesn't want, like... He's not about what the next step is.
Yes.
What's the step after that, you know?
And what's 3 steps next, and can I skip to the...
To that point.
Well, can I skip 2 and then, you know, go from there? You know?
Right. It's like, what are the next 3 steps, and can I get to the 4th without even... Without even doing any of the other ones before it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so then after he makes that launcher construct, he doesn't notice that a remnant comes up behind him and just grabs him and starts yanking him back towards the woods.
Yeah, because like there's something about like Yaren.
That's in a later.
That's in a later bit.
A later section. He fights another remnant.
Yeah, he fights another remnant.
Yeah. Because in this one, he like just a little bit before like joked like, oh, like you better not be helping me, like Ethan wouldn't be happy or whatever. And then she like he's joking about it, and then she's like, oh, well, see if I help you, if like Dread Beast comes gets you, like whatever.
And so then of course it happens.
Yeah. And then eventually he convinces her, he's like, please let me out or whatever. And she's like, what lesson did you learn? And he was like, that I shouldn't try and skip steps. And then he immediately thinks,
the real lesson is I need to be as strong as Fisher Gesha.
Exactly. The real lesson is if I was Jade, I would have noticed it was coming, and if I was High Gold like Fisher Gesha, I would have just slapped it like aside. Like so it's not like I'm not worried about skipping steps. I just should be there already, you know.
Yeah, which is of course very funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, but you can't. Yeah. It's like that's kind of the same lesson, but also kind of the opposite of the lesson at like the same time.
Yeah, because Gesha says, you think too highly of yourself, and this is what comes. A Jade would have sensed my approach, and when I returned to camp, a Jade would have felt this fellow coming. So she, like, already is, like, she, like, mentioned that before, and then is like, well, what lesson did you learn? And, like, not to skip steps, because he knows that that's what she, wants out of the lesson.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, it's just like, if I could successfully skip steps.
Yeah.
Be even better.
I also love, but he couldn't see how her lesson applied to his current situation. Certainly, he should have taken the time to put down some sort of alarm circle around the camp before he started working on this construct, but he didn't see what that had to do with his unauthorized Soulsmith experiments. Yep, and so then Fisher Gesha takes care of the remnant for him and is like, don't tell Ethan that I helped you, or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't tell her what he had really learned. He would have caught the remnant's approach if he were Jade, and she, a High Gold, had swatted it like a fly.
Yeah.
That was the real lesson. If you were powerful enough, you could accomplish anything.
All you gotta do is be stronger. More powerful equals more better. Which is why, you know, every time, Lyndon, you've come across someone who's more powerful than you, they've just immediately won. You've not gotten the better of them, because all that matters is being more powerful.
Well, it's funny because they do have that, like, discussion later, like, with Yaren. Like, Lyndon, Ethan, and Yaren have, like, a kind of conversation, because we'll get to it, but, like, with their different approaches, like, Yaren just, like, head on, you know, just fight through it. Lyndon would rather see if there's a way around it first, and then if he has to, then he'll, you know,
then he'll fight through it.
Yeah.
He has like a different approach because of like how he's always had to approach things differently because he lacks in raw power. Yep. So that's chapter 1. Yeah. Chapter 2.
Yeah. We are back after a couple days.
Yeah.
Well, a day. It was only.
Yeah, it was like we started recording yesterday.
Yep.
And now we're recording again
now
today.
We're back.
Yeah, I was having like a headache and stuff. Yeah. So just like.
And I was supposed to go over to my parents for a couple minutes for kind of before Memorial Day or whatever, but So then I ended up doing that.
Yep. So we're now jumping back in with chapter 2.
Yeah. And so we are with Jai Long for the first time this book.
Yeah.
And so we've barely seen his sister Jai Chen before.
Right, because she was mostly just kind of like mentioned, but I don't know that we really like saw her last book.
Yeah.
Or so only a little bit.
Very, very briefly, maybe. And so we see her a little bit, like here and everything. Jai Long is trying to explain Kral's death in the nicest way possible, making him look the best and stuff.
Right, and Travis Baldry is just really selling how pathetic this girl is.
Yeah.
How just like...
she can't really speak. She's like super weak. She like, physically she's like fine other than like being so weak from like not like moving around, but like her Madra channels are all like tied up and like broken and all of that from the remnant attack that Jailong got his corrupted remnant from.
Right. Yeah.
Or like the one that's like slightly off from.
Yeah. It's like similar, but not quite unlike the the normal Jai Clan.
It's basically the same, but it uses like living techniques. It has like some kind of like will behind them, because we see Jailong's techniques. They like they're like animated in some way.
Right. Interesting. I don't think I knew that was.
That's like the major
has
difference.
That been...
It has in this section, like where we it's not like explicitly stated, but like we've seen how the Jai fight with like the Stellar Spear. I think they might talk about it in Ethan's section where he talks about the different paths. Yeah. Because he goes over the 3 different Jai paths.
Right. Yeah. I think like he does talk about that. I just didn't necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I saw like how it was different, but the idea that like his, I guess you're just saying like living techniques.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, so just like I guess I thought that was a more words.
Yeah.
You said it as if it was like a really significant thing. It's like,
okay. Yeah. It's just.
Yeah.
It's significant to the Jai in that it's like, you know, different from the normal one he was supposed to take.
Right. And so it's got like living techniques. I'm like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah, Ethan does say that it's like kind of odd and that's like hard to control, but because his because of the remnant he took in, he's able to do these like kind of living techniques or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. It's not important right now.
Yeah, we see a bit of him fighting in this, so we like see some of those techniques in this chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about Jai Chen.
Yes. And she just sounds so sad and weak when Travis Baldry.
Yeah.
Like I need to see like how does. Yeah, like all the sea of ellipses, and boy, Travis Baldry includes them.
And it's but it took her a few full breaths before she could speak, so it's like kind of having these like breaths in between and like and all of that.
Yeah, he really sells it.
Yeah. He does a great job. But yeah, they're kind of like talking about like Crawl, and like she's like obviously like upset and stuff because like he would talk to her and like tell her stories and stuff, and like we've seen how the Jai Clan, or like heard how the Jai Clan treated them and stuff, so it's like, you know, was closer to him and stuff, and he's kind of trying to hide like how brutal he's like just like what he's about to go do, like
like how bad it's about to be.
And it's kind of trying to soften it and stuff. And like the first thing he thinks, like when she's like, we're like, do you want to go back or whatever? His first thought is only to butcher them, and then he like says out loud like, maybe we could heal you this way, maybe we could do this or whatever, and like and then he kind of can't help himself, and then it's like, you don't think we can leave? When I'm finished, there'll be no one left to follow us. And then it's like the topic has gotten much darker than he had planned, but they talked for an hour afterwards, and you know. So like he's not hiding it, but
he is trying to sort of like you know, not try and soften it for her, like you were saying, you know. It's like not telling her, but just sort of making it sound as best as we can and not focusing on it so much.
And then we'll get a little bit of description of like her mod channels and stuff, and all of that, like all like knotted up and like broken.
Madra built up in the wrong places. It says
the half of the passages were dim, blocked, and the other half were too bright, as Madra built up in the passages.
Her core was like cracked and leaking light and stuff.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
And so she has like doesn't have great control over her body and stuff because of that. Because like we like Lyndon talks about, like, you know, like they're always enforcing it at least a little bit with their Madra and stuff. Even if there's no like technique. And like this chapter's a bit of like recap and like going over like the situation, like
just sort of catching us back up to speed on like where we were at the end of the last book,
and then like kind of more thinking about like the Jai Clan and how like it's their fault that she's like still like it's like they could have like healed her and everything, and they just don't want to put resources into it and all of that. And then it's like, which had shown him the extent of the clan's loyalty. Why should he be loyal in return? And yeah, so then he goes to meet with the she like falls asleep and stuff, and so then he leaves to go meet with the Sand Vipers to to go meet Gakrin, because he's finally like returned and such, and it's really sad. Like you feel bad for him.
Right, yeah, because I really enjoyed this scene. Because like Jailong is just expecting the worst.
Yeah. At every situation,
Yeah, like he's always expecting the worst, and he just doesn't expect anyone to ever like be on his side. And so the fact that like Akron's just so like genuine and like friendly with him. You know?
And he's like, you were my son's like best friend. Like you're my son now, like you're like my son, you know, like he says like your enemies are my enemies and such. Which he's never had that.
Right. And doesn't he like hand the spear over to him?
I think in the later
chapter.
Yeah. There's another interaction, because like There's a few different interactions with him and Gakrin where it's like he just can't
like trust him, like fully just like believe that he's actually just like being like of course he's not gonna do this and that because you know,
because he first thinks like, oh, like when I go see him he's gonna blame me for Krall's death for not like stopping it or whatever. He's gonna be mad at me, and like he sees him and he's immediately like,
I'm so sorry that this happened.
And like Gakrin is like, no, like I don't blame me. I don't blame you. You're gonna get revenge for me in a year.
Right.
Like I believe that. Like I'm not worried. Like for now, like let's go. Let's go do your thing.
Yeah, because also it's like it's not even gonna be a thing. To kill Ethan. Not Ethan. Lyndon. Ethan, Lyndon.
As far as they're concerned, he's still an iron. Like, well, I mean, he's like an iron.
Yeah, which is like so many levels below.
Yeah, and he's a high gold. Hoping to get a bunch of power with the spear and maybe get like true gold and maybe Underlord. Right. He's talking with Gakrin about trying to
achieve Underlord because it's like, because I think Gakrin's like says he wouldn't be able to hit Underlord until like maybe like it'd take him like a really long time, but Jailong could probably hit it. I think there was something like that.
I think this is the section where he gives him back the spear.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Okay, in this section he just talks about, like, the gulf between Gold and Lord is wider than you imagine. It requires a certain insight that I'd never gained. If it was only a matter of power, I would have broken through long ago, but, yeah.
Gotcha, yeah. So there's some sort of, like, trick. There's some sort of something. It's not just, like, a power threshold thing. Yeah. Which is what Gold seems to be all about.
Yeah, basically.
Because it's like, we later kind of find out that basically from Jade to Gold is just, like, a power threshold thing. Yeah. And then it just layers of that until you hit Underlord, where that has something to do with like a specific thing. Yeah. Some sort of insight, maybe. Yeah, some sort of like trick, which I figure probably has to do with that like flame thing that Ethan had, like Soul Flame or whatever it was called. Oh yeah. Soulfire. Soulfire, which actually is that this book?
Yes, it is.
They talks about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting ahead of...
We're all over the place today.
we're all over the place today. It was, since we've done like half the book, it's yeah, I expected this to be a little less like on chapter, I guess.
This one's my fault. I was too impatient.
It's funny because this is like our first Cradle video where we're just doing like the full half the book and we're not staying. It's like a lot. It's a lot, and also we're like not staying like strictly on the chapter, although this time we actually, by keeping to the format, we're still like, because before it was like, what have we talked about? What haven't we talked about? But I like in this section, because I was like, as you were like looking at some of the highlighted bits, they're doing this. They're like expecting the Jai family to do the fucking same shit that Sacred Valley did to Yaren, where it's just like, we could maybe solve this problem if we all just went at it together. But instead, we're just going to trickle out steadily stronger people.
Yep, exactly.
Because we need to...
It's that very, like, traditional, because they say, like, the Jai clan is, like, as traditional as they come, you know.
Right. It's so funny, because it's just, like, this idea of, like, in some sense, it's, like, we have to solve this in as few people as possible.
Yeah.
You know? But that means... one at a time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it has to be settled by one person. And then, like, how about the fact that it's taken you a bunch of people, you all getting fucking killed first before you get to the one person? Maybe it would have taken less people.
Right.
But, you know, it was 2-on-1, it's not fair. Well... Yeah, it's just funny. It's just like, because that's what they fucking did with, like, Yaren. You know, they just, like, trickled out some people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She would have been overwhelmed if they didn't like they were just like sending a bunch of like irons at her.
Right. It's also interesting that like he says the difference between gold and lord.
Yes.
Not specifically true gold and underlord. Just gold and lord. So I feel like lord again it's gonna be like underlord, overlord, dreadlord is my guess for the terms. Maybe there'll be even more. There'll be like medium lord. There'll be low, medium, low. You know, it's like just we have a specific name for every possible transitory phase in between. Lord is an infinite gradient, and the way you surpass that is by understanding infinity. You have to get through all of the infinite stages of lore in order to get to sage, and then and then there's different levels of sage that are and then at some point you're just surreal and you're literally a fucking angel god being thing.
Yeah.
So.
I like your power level.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like, oh, she took on the mantle of whatever, and now
the mantle of Surreal.
And now thinking about how like, oh, like remnants get passed down through these families.
Yeah. And
like later, Lyndon's gonna make like a fucking pact with you know a creature in order to get more Madra. I'm like, this is some sort of like version of that. You know, it's like she inherited that like remnant or made a pact with the thing. You know, she it's like This is like, you know, it feels somehow like in a pattern with it. So I don't know. I
like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't really say much, but I like the wild speculation.
Oh, I know. It's just like I just gotta throw it out there and see what you know. Cause I think it's like when I watch like reactors and stuff, it's like no, I want to hear
I want to like the the whack theories and stuff.
But you got to be willing to abandon your whack theories.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the thing. Sometimes you get you hold on too tightly to your little whack theory. Yep. And it's like,
and then it doesn't happen that way, and you're confused,
and then you're confused.
Upset.
It's like, well, why? But like, this doesn't make any sense. It's like,
was supposed to happen this way.
It's supposed to happen this way. It's like, no.
This was set up, and it's like, no.
Sometimes you hold on to earring theory for the whole series, and it actually pays off. But you have to let go of your other theories along the way.
The amount that I like just didn't know what to say, and all, like talking about the earring, and I'm like. Great, like
it's like it's something. I'm just saying, drawing circles around the earring, just like tapping it. What does it mean? Yeah. So there's my thoughts. I'm like, where does it end? And the answer supposedly like it doesn't. There is no like end, but Ethan's also like follow me to the end. So it's like, because also it's like we have like universe ending threats out here.
Yeah. Like,
and so, like, what's gonna happen with that?
We've seen Surreal with, like, these decaying, like, physics-defying, like, reality-defying worlds and shit, and then we come back to Cradle.
It's just like, and what's that about, huh? Are we gonna do anything about that? Is that even, what, You need to read more Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
I was supposed to read today, but I was cleaning.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, you know... you have a little bit of it where it's like the White Walkers exist, and you'll be like doing something involving that, and then you cut back to like whatever bullshit's happening elsewhere, and you're like,
but the White Walkers, though.
But the White Walkers. But like,
I mean, that's what everyone on the wall is saying. Well, they don't know about it, but like that's
right.
basically what they're fucking.
Yeah, it's like every now and then you're just like you're reading about some fucking shit that's happening up in the north, and you're like, oh shit, this could kill literally everyone. And then you get back down, it's like, we got a war going on. Stop it!
Stop it!
Stop it! Get some help. But yeah, so they're just gonna like send people one by one to go kill Jai Long, so Jai Long can just like Pac-Man just
because he's just absorbing their power. Like that's exactly what he wants, is just like a small amount of people to just take their power, like
just a steady stream of fucking so that he could fucking Dark Souls, fucking kill them, take their souls.
Yep.
and then level up.
Yeah, it's like you're just handing me power that I can just,
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but he did invent. He did find a way to make the Dark Souls economy in this world, because it's like in Dark Souls your EXP, your experience points, are souls, which are also what you use to buy things. Like you
it's
do
like scales.
Yes. And so scales being both
because it is like forged, like it's forged Madra,
right? Which is like essentially like your soul in essence, And so it's just like we like if you eat these coins, if you eat enough of these coins, you will eventually advance. Although it's diminishing returns and like exponential. At a certain point you start hitting the soft level caps, and then
and then you just need better shit.
You consume the soul of a greater warrior. And
exactly.
And then you can level up.
Exactly.
Or you could, spend or you could spend that on something, and so it's literally just the fucking Dark Souls economy.
And like with like remnants and stuff, like especially like remnants of like sacred artists and stuff.
Yeah, because you're just like, oh, here's a body, and there's a little like glowy thing, and it's like a large soul of warrior or whatever.
I mean, that's like coming across a remnant, and
and then you just go and crush it in your hand.
Like you can take it apart for parts for soulsmithing, or like sell it, or
you whenever you beat bosses in Dark Souls, you get their soul, and you can turn their souls into unique weapons, or you can just get a bunch of like, or you can just get like levels out of it. You can just consume them for souls.
It's very like kind of progression fantasy, or like like lit RPG, because like people sometimes will call this lit RPG, but sometimes not, because it's like less like numbers heavy. Yeah,
it's less like specific. Like it doesn't have those elements of like living in a video game, like for real.
Like more like isekai type, like with a like HUD and shit,
right, where it's like the idea of like building a fantasy world that works on, because like video games have set a precedent for like how to build a fantasy world where these kinds of video gamey aspects make sense diegetically. We've been kind of doing this for a little while.
I feel like Last Horizon feels more video gamey. Like of Will Wight's stuff, like then Cradle. Like not like...
Right. Yeah, because it's like, I have...
You've listened to like the first chapter.
Yeah, I listened to like the first chapter. But also it's like, I have like read one little like, just like a random fucking Amazon fucking like little self-published thing that where they literally had like the menu RPG. Like essentially where it's like someone gets fucking isekai'd, and then there's like, oh, we have like menus and shit.
I have He Who Fights Monsters on I have it on audiobook because I like listen to audiobooks at work, but like I feel like it's kind of might be hard to like listen to with like so like, because I know it's like it has a lot of like stats, like stat heavy, like stuff like that, so like it might be a better book to like physically read rather than listen to the audiobook.
I'm just thinking about like, I haven't even watched the show, but like isn't it Seven Deadly Sins that has the fucking pig who just says numbers?
Yeah. I watched the first like season and a half.
Because like we were watching Mother's Basement recently. And I just remember in some of his videos where it's just clips of just that pig saying numbers, because it's just like, here's everyone's like hyper specific, like here's the specific numbers like for their stats, and
I've like erased that like pig from my mind. Like he was talking about it, and I'm like, oh right, I remember like that annoying, but like it's just
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why I found him annoying. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I've erased him. Like, I remember so much, like, other stuff from Seven Deadly Sins, and I remember...
defense mechanism. You're just like, it's just like, while it's happening on screen, your brain just goes
like,
like,
nope. Because I did enjoy, like bits of it and stuff, like...
Fucking Doctor Who perception filter, you just don't...
Yeah, just, like next to it.
Yep.
Like, I remember, I think I fell off of it in, like... Because Bon was, like, my favorite, and then he was, like, weird.
Yeah.
Then there was weird, like, lolly, not lolly stuff that just...
Yeah.
I was just like, eh. And then I stopped.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah. I just, like... What's funny, I don't know, like, whenever I think about, like, lolly, not lolly shit, I think about, like, fucking... I played Fire Emblem Awakening, and they had, like... 1,000-year-old dragon, but it looks like a little girl. But it's like we have both 1,000-year-old dragon who looks like a little girl and an older, more thousands of year old dragon who looks like a woman but is still short. It's still shorter than everyone else, but does have like an actual like adult looking body as opposed to child.
Yeah.
Who like I think you can marry the child 1,000-year-old dragon one because you know it's a 1,000-year-old dragon, but it's just like you are the worst character and I don't engage with you whenever I play that game. I played so much of that game and I'm like, no. No thank you. I think her name's like Noe, Nowi. I think that's her and not the other dragon lady. But she's the worst. It's just like, no thank you. I don't need you in this game. You know? I think I ended up like putting her together with like Vake, who doesn't deserve that. But he was just
deserve that.
But you know, it's just like you gotta pair up all the units to get all the like kids and stuff or whatever. But I could be getting this like wrong.
Yeah.
But with him, because he's just like boring. He's just a dude. He's just like, I'm a strong axe man.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of dumb, and it's just like, yeah, he's not really got much going on. So these two just kind of got like,
I just don't care about these characters, so these characters can be
these were just kind of like the leftover
ones.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because it's like, but then does she have a child? Because they all have like future children and stuff, but I'm like, does older dragon lady even have a child? I don't remember. Like, is Naui her child, or is Naui her own thing and then has a child? And if so, who's that? I don't remember. It's been so long since I've played Fire Emblem Awakening, though I did play it a lot back in the day. And then I played no other Fire Emblem as much as I played Awakening.
I've always thought about it and never played.
Yeah, it's like I've played a little bit of Four Houses recently-ish, but it's just like... And it's like, I should play more of Four Houses and be more into it because it's the gayest one, but I just haven't. Yeah. Because it's like, it's a lot of reading. Yep. And it's just like, because it's like it got to a point with Awakening where like, I already knew it. So I was just like skipping through, but now I have to actually pay attention and engage and stuff. It's just long. Yeah. And it's more complicated. And you have to actually like, having to actually like physically walk around the school, I'm like, it actually sucks. It actually sucks and it's annoying. Let me just go like, it's like, because back when I first played Fire Emblem Awakening, I'm like, I wish that I could like walk around. Like I was expecting there to be a portion where like I walked around and talked to people, and then they gave it to you in Four Houses, and I'm like and I'm like, this is too many people, and this is too much space. Yeah. And like, where is everything? And there's like a map, and it's too much.
Got you.
It just I'm like, there's too many people. There's too many people to talk to. And I have to find all of them. Where are they?
Yeah.
And I can go do other shit, and it's been so long. What do all these things do? I have to start the game over and go through the tutorial again, but I've done that like so many times that I've gotten like not into the game at all.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's been Fire Emblem. That's been my little Fire Emblem rant, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
What were we talking about?
We went on a long tangent. I have no idea where we were.
Yeah, because I was talking about the Dark Souls economy.
Yeah, we were talking about the Dark Souls economy.
Yeah.
Yep.
how he's just gonna like kill people and take their souls
yes.
to get stronger and advance and become Underlord.
Yes. There was one more thing I wanted to say about this section before we move on, because it switches point of views. So there's one more section left of this chapter. But before we move on from that, I just wanted to mention, because they're talking about like logistics of my brain has died on this character's name. Jai Daisho.
Yeah.
Jai Daisho. There we go.
Yeah, it's the Jai Dai.
It's
Jai Daisho.
I kept wanting to say Dai Jaisho.
Dai Jaisho.
And I'm like, I knew that was wrong.
Yep, your brain's like flipping it.
God. Talking about like kind of what his plans are and all of that. And Gakrin asks, because there's like been rumors. Rumor says he's dying. Is this true? Reflexively, Jai Long remained quiet. Those were clan matters and not to be spoken of to outsiders. And then that thought was replaced by disgust in an instant. Years away from the main Jai clan, and Jai Long was still keeping their secrets. How deep their poison sinks. Unless they've discovered a miracle cure, he won't live 5 more years. So then they talk about...
What's really kind of funny is, like, I just remember hearing him say how deep their poison sinks, and then thinking, like, you're literally teaming up with the poison people.
Yep. Yep.
It's just like their metaphorical poison versus their literal poison.
Yep.
Which is funny, because they have literal poison, but they're also, like, nice to their kids.
Yep.
And stuff, Oh, just like a little prick just to, Yeah, we could fucking fill you to the brim with with Sandviper venom, and it would maybe get you a stronger iron body.
But it would also have a greater chance of you dying.
Of you just straight up fucking dying.
Of, like, you losing control, and then it would just burn you up.
Yeah, especially because it's, like, they're doing it with, like, children.
Yep.
And so it's like the children probably wouldn't have... But also it's like the children, in some sense, would have been doing it longer than Lyndon, but Lyndon has been cycling for, like, all that time.
Yeah. Even
though he hasn't been, like, as strong, he's still been, like, studying in some sense, like, learning cycling techniques and stuff. So it's like, Lyndon has something of advantage by being basically an adult.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 16, right?
Yeah, I think
so he's like not quite an adult, but he's like, approaching, he's young adult, as you might say.
Yeah.
While they're just like children.
Yeah.
Getting pricked with poison.
But to compare to some other 8-year-olds, we've got Yaren and Jai Long have both talked about their, like, iron bodies. And, like,
and how much more, like, excruciating it was.
But also we heard about Ethan, and his was chill. So,
his was very chill. I played sports. But I mean, also, Ethan says it was chill, but, like, by Ethan standards, what does that mean?
We'll get into his training methods.
Right, it's like, what's chill by Ethan standards,
She ran past me, and I, like, still had my hand out. She ran past me and then ran back up to touch my hand.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Yeah, they're being crazy out there.
Good girl.
The dogs are outside.
Yep.
They're barking to come in. Because they're crazy.
They are.
Because they're going to want to go back, like...
outside, like, soon.
Like, immediately. Because it's so nice out.
Oh, yeah. And we have 1 billion squirrels.
Yeah, we have 1 billion squirrels all located within our backyard.
Exactly.
They're, like, piled on top of each other. And then the dogs run out and they scatter.
They all go.
Secret technique, 1 billion squirrels. Yeah. One time, my buddy Ethan in D&D did summon just, like, a ton of badgers. And, like, killed a small dragon with it, or, like, a wyvern or something. With just, like, a swarm of badgers. Because he was playing the druid subclass that's specifically about summoning things.
Yeah.
And so I think all the ones that he summoned were, like, stronger than normal. And it's just like, when you got that many badgers, just sheer action economy, you're just overwhelmed. Like, the dragon gets to attack once.
Yeah.
But you and your badgers get, like, so many turns. It was great. It was just... It's like, well, like, we fucking, like, suplex it out of a tower and then hit it with badgers over and over again. It was a good time.
Wild.
Yeah. But anyway, what were we saying?
We were talking about Jai Daisho and
Right.
such, and him being ill and everything.
Yes. Yeah, dead in like 5 years.
Yep. Yeah.
Presumably.
Yep. And I think that's about it for this section.
Yeah, for the like dialogue section.
Yeah. And there's also just one more little bit as like he not only Gakrin is like on his side, but like the rest of the Sand Vipers.
Right.
Like, he's looking for like hateful looks or whatever, and he like doesn't see any of that. He just is like just like supporting him, and you know,
because he's basically been running the Sand Vipers out here.
Yep, he was actually the chief while the chief wasn't there instead of Crawl. Like Crawl was friends with all of them, but like
it was they were a good dynamic of figurehead and actual leader, and everyone knew that he was the actual leader, but everyone also knew that like
loved and respected Crawl as like the figurehead. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like this guy, he's great. We know that Jai Long's like actually like leading things, but like he's cool with Crawl and Crawl's cool with us, and he's doing a good job.
Yep.
It's not like he was doing a bad job of like, you know, running things.
Yep. And I also think like in this section, like, because like we only see we see the Sand Vipers.
At least from the Sand Vipers' perspective, he did a good job.
Yeah.
I interrupted you and then you lost your your thought, didn't you? Oh no.
It's all right. It's gone.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're talking about the Sand Vipers and
they like him and
Oh, I was going to go into because like it's like this once again he saw how deeply he had misunderstood his allies and stuff. And that's what it is. We see
Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that barking? Like we said, you hear how soon it is since we said that we just let them in, and she's already barking again.
Oh no. We see from the like we see the Sand Vipers like from Jai Long's point of view, and like we don't see the Sand Vipers thinking about Jai Long.
Right.
And we don't see the Sand Vipers like thinking about like Jai Long and stuff like much really. But from Jai Long's perspective, like when we see like at the bath or whatever,
right.
He's like, oh, they wouldn't want me in there or whatever, and it's like honestly. You are probably right that they didn't want you in there because you're pushing everyone away. Like, you know, if you were, like, chill...
Right.
Like, it's not your face. It's not, you know, like, it's...
Yeah, it's like you're pushing everyone away. They'd actually be, like, fine with you like, being there if you were just, like, you know,
they like, actually like you.
Right.
You're intimidating, but, like, that's also partially you put that on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last line of that little section is, with his new family at his side, Jai Long marched to destroy his old one, which I just like that line.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a real fucking family going on here now.
Yeah.
They actually care about him and, like, appreciate him because they're not, like, you know, oh, this weird specific thing about, like, the path and whatnot.
Right, so like, that's just, like, his family.
Yep, so it's just, like, they're like, no, you're just a cool dude.
Yep, super strong and, you know, loyal to Crawl and such.
Right.
But, yeah. So now we can move on to the
Linden section.
Yeah. He's, like, continuing to work with Fisher Gesha and stuff. And just a little bit of Linden constantly working, like, as they, like, break down the camp and start to, like, head back to, like, the Five Faction Alliance or whatever, where her, like, foundry is. Mm-hmm. He's, reading and committing scripts to memory and stuff, just, like, constantly, you know, working and stuff. And then they have, like, a conversation where, like, Fisher Gesha's trying to, like, without saying it outright, be like, don't say anything bad about me to Ethan, like, please, like, like, he scares the shit out of me.
Right, yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, Linden, like, reads that and is like, I got you. You won't hear anything bad, like, from me or whatever. Yeah, like, Lyndon knew Fisher Gesha was a high gold who could twist him into a knot without ever touching him, but she was still a 4-foot-tall old woman who could have been his grandmother. His heart softened when he saw her, careful and afraid. I won't carry news back to him, I swear it. He won't hear anything from me.
Yeah.
He's an Aurelius. If the rumors are true, then I'll hear about it regardless.
Right.
And then they're like, he can hear, from what I've heard, he can hear everything. And then Ethan jumps out and goes, he can't see Lyndon says he can't see everything, and Ethan pops out and goes, not everything.
Not everything. Yeah. I really enjoyed having Ethan around.
Yeah.
And his just sort of, like, fun demeanor.
Yep.
Because, like, Lyndon and Yaren as, like, a duo is fun. But it's like, Yaren does know things, but isn't, like, a good teacher.
Yep, yeah.
And also, it isn't fun in the same way.
Yeah.
You know? Like, she is fun.
Yeah, but she's, like...
She's
got shit to do.
She's got shit to do. She's serious.
Yep.
She's focused on her stuff. She's got, like, a sense of humor.
Yep, yeah.
And is, like, you know... still good to be around, but Ethan's just like so fun to read.
Loves to be over the top, loves to, you know, the drama,
he's flashy, he's showy, he's very jokey, and just like it's fun his power to just like know everything around him. And it's like, he is still, like, strong, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not about being strong, it's about knowing things, which is such a, just, like, a fun... It's a very powerful skill to have, but it's not all powerful, but it is still, like, just a lot of fun.
Yep.
To see him do his thing. It's a fun, like, archetype that I like.
Yeah, Ethan is very fun. And when he shows up, everyone, like, bows, because they know he's an Underlord now, and everything, so everyone's, like, falling all over themselves. And so then... Lyndon goes, Underlord, forgive me, I was startled. There will be no forgiveness. To the blood pits with you. Gesha's, like, trembling and, like, freaked out. And not every joke is appreciated in its time. Tell me, Soulsmith Gesha, would you mind if I borrowed my little brother here? Feel free to say no, although, of course, I will have your corpse mounted on a flagpole for the slightest defiance. And she's still terrified, like, the will of the Underlord be done. And... Lyndon passed a hand over his face with a lowered voice. He says, Please, Underlord.
Yeah.
Am I to be condemned because she takes things too? No, fine, all right.
I really do feel like Travis Baldree does such a, like, good job selling Ethan and, like, giving these, like, line reads, you know?
I hear them in his, like, in his Ethan voice. Like, most of the things I, like, hear in Travis Baldree's, like, narration, because it's just great.
Right. Yeah, just, like, I feel like he gives, like, very good sort of, like, natural line reads for a lot of these lines. Like, you feel like, yep, that's how that was meant to sort of come across. Yeah, and I love his humor, it's just, like, you know, like, I don't even know, like, quite the right words to describe it, where he's just sort of, like, knowing the sort of, like, expectation.
Yeah, and, like, playing into
it, but, like, obviously joking.
Yeah,
but then
trying to be obviously joking, but then people are like, but if he's not, this could actually be an issue.
Yeah. It's like, oh, come on now, you're no fun.
Which, like, Lyndon gets, so he's not falling all over himself, like, at this point, but...
Yeah, Lyndon's got, like, the highest wisdom stat. He's also, like, while, like, we were saying before that Tyrion is, like, charisma and intelligence... Lyndon is, like, wisdom and charisma.
Yeah.
Like, not that he's not intelligence, because he is also, like, high in intelligence, but it's, like...
But,
he can, like, read people, like, insight, like, understand, but then, like, also charisma, like, he knows how to, like, talk his way.
Yeah.
Like, he can, like, navigate a social situation in such a way. He knows how to, like... judo throw, like, use your own weight against you in a politeness fight.
Yeah. Lyndon will always win a politeness fight.
Yeah, he's very good at that. Cause, like, did we talk about this on the podcast, or was this off the podcast? Where it's like I was sort of comparing Lyndon to the certain, like, like witty dialogue, Joss Whedon sort of like.
I don't remember if that was on the podcast or not.
I think it was maybe not on the podcast.
That's what I was leaning towards.
Yeah, where it's like the certain type of like semi-self-aware sort of like. You know, like, this character archetype that you kind of, like, see and that people are kind of getting tired of, like, you know, the character who's, like, too cool for everything that's going on. It's, like, they're bored of the plot, like, they're bored of it, and they want to just, like, get to, like...
Yeah.
And Lyndon has that, but in a more fun way.
Yep.
Where it's, like, Lyndon's, like, when he's, like, doing the pleasantries...
Yeah.
He's just, like... Instead of being, like, rude about it, he's like, I want to get to the point, I want to get to the thing, but instead of being rude about it, I'm going to be the most polite about it.
Yep.
Instead of being, like, flippant and rude and being like, who cares about all this shit? Just get to the whatever. It's like, my apologies, but, like, wouldn't we perhaps want to get to this thing?
Yo.
There's a moment in particular where, like, he does that, either in this section that we read, like, maybe not this chapter, but, like, you know.
Yeah.
Or in, like, the last one where it's just, like... You know, like, I think about the whole, like, what's the moral of the story? It's a fable about overprotective parenting. Whenever he's just, like... Yep. Like, come on, get to it.
Yep, and with the Fisher Gesha and his lesson.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because it's, like, a moment where I think he's, like, talking to Ethan, and it's, like... I think maybe also, like, when it's, like, letting him out of that, like, tunnel.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you are wise. So wise and smart, Overlord. Now, if I could please, you know. Yeah. It just makes him a lot of, like, fun to read. He's kind of like almost like an inversion of that.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's just like but like the thing that I want to get to, but he's gonna be just
the most polite about
it, and just like
and find a way to like slip it into conversation or move the conversation that way.
Just Lyndon will make it so that like it's rude to refuse, you know, just phrasing it in just the right way. It's like, well, now it seems like it'd be rude if I said no. You know, he would, because I said this to you, it's like, Lyndon would be good at sales derogatory. It's like, it's great to read, but Lyndon would be a nightmare to like have knock at your door and try and sell you something. He's just like, subtly his toe is just in your door. He's just like, but the convenience of blah 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 blah.
How'd you get in my kitchen?
He's just like, he's already setting it up in your house.
I thought you already bought it.
Yep. Yeah, no. Lyndon would be a nightmare to have to actually like disagree with. You know, if Lyndon wants something from you, it's like, we're gonna find a way to get to that. But then Ethan can fucking turn it back on him in a really like fun way, because he's kind of the other version. Yeah.
So both of them, like,
because he's kind of the more the rude one. Yep. But like, because he has just like the power to back it up.
Yeah. He can just do that.
And so it's fun to have like both. Yep. You know, to have them sort of like circle around each other.
They're very fun to see bounce off of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But where were we actually at in this chapter?
Ethan had shown up, so we were talking about Ethan.
Yeah, and was like, to the blood pits with you.
Yeah.
He'll be mounted on a spike and all that.
And so then he apologizes and like, look, anything you say, he's like, on my word as an underlord, you will not be punished for anything you say here or have said today. Now follow my instructions.
Yes.
And then he's like, see, like, it's so much, you see how much faster it is when I just tell them what to do? It's infuriating. I don't want to phrase everything as a command for the rest of my life. It sounds hard on you, Underlord. Yep. And, yes, the endless subservience and instant obedience wear on me. But if you call me anything other than Ethan again, I'll have you sleep in a cave full of bats.
Yep. It's like, fuck you. Stop being polite.
Yeah. You can call me Ethan or brother, which
Or brother.
I think he just knows he won't call him brother, so he will call him Ethan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I have to give you a more casual option so that you'll use the slightly more formal option, and thus I have tricked you into being more casual with me.
Yeah.
You know? The thing is, I tell you that the thing is at 7 because the thing is actually at, like, 8:30, and so then you end up here at 7.
There's a few people that I did that with.
Or not 7, man.
Yeah. I would there's a few people's, like, they get an hour different time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's like, you get told that it's earlier than it is, so that you'll show up on time.
Yep.
Like, you fool, I've tricked you into being early. and
not early, just 5 minutes late.
Right, well, because, like, I remember Androfi Karina talked about that, like, having to do that with her friends, and being like, you fool, I've tricked you into being early.
I so grew up with 5 minutes early is on time and on time is late. Mm-hmm. Like, that's so been drilled into my head.
I feel like there are instances where that's true. Yeah. Like, you know, if you have some sort of formal appointment, but, like, anything else, it's like...
Yeah, like a social thing normally is not, like, you know...
Yeah, that strict. Yeah. But I do definitely get that for something like a doctor's appointment or whatever. Yeah. We've been spending a long time...
On chapter 2, we've hardly gone anywhere. Ethan is taking him to go train or whatever. He's like, you're... Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like this line. Well, as I was saying, Fisher Gesha, I must borrow your pupil for an hour or 6. I'll return him to you in 1 or more pieces.
Yes. Yeah, because this is like, gosh, so much has happened because we've read half the book.
Yeah. So then also Fisher Gesha, like, he, like, offers her to join them, and she immediately declines, and it's like, okay.
Yep, and then like, well, all right, and then we're off.
Yep, and then they go he goes to show him the training hall.
Yeah, and that's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3. we tried starting.
We did a whole thing.
Because the thing is that a little behind the scenes is that we paused the recording and then restart and then, like,
started again the chapters
between chapters, because then it, like, breaks up the audio timeline and it makes it really easy for me to go back in and, like, find the chapter breaks in order to, like, put it in, like, the YouTube video, you know, to have, like, the chapters. And so then we were, like, hitting record and it didn't do, and so then I was like, wait, is that going? And then hit record. But yeah, so after 45 minutes of talking about chapter 2, we're maybe going to try and pick up the pace a little bit. Considering we have half the book to get through, we might truncate this one. We might
like split it or
something. We'll see. We've said that before, and I don't think we've literally ever done it.
Probably not. I don't think so.
I don't know that we've ever actually, like, split up an episode. Maybe one time we did during Mistborn era. But anyway, chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Ethan brings Lyndon to the newly built training hall.
Yes, and we meet the training dummies.
Yep.
Meet them as if they're people. It's like they have these, like, wooden dummies, and you gotta, like, hit them with Madra.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, shoot Madra into them to make a light up, but you gotta shoot just the right amount of Madra into them.
Yes.
To make the light up, and yeah.
And you have to do it, like, all in a, like, pretty quick or whatever.
Yeah, it's like they're all, like, coming at you, and then you gotta, like, you know, block the attacks and hit, and, you know, it's
and it's like 3 hits per dummy or whatever, and all 3 lights have to be on for all 18.
Right, and then you win.
Yeah.
And so then you're, like, doing it, like, faster and faster, and it's like, Yaren can do it without too much problem.
Yeah, she did it in, like, 15 seconds or something.
Yeah, and then Lyndon tries to do it and just gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. Well, first, Ethan's like, okay, Yaren, you try it. She does, like, pretty well or whatever. And then he's like, Lyndon, pretend like I'm giving you the task to, like, take care of an enemy.
Oh, right.
Like, he does this illustration first. Mm-hmm. And it's like They all need to be lit.
Yeah, so all the lights need to be lit.
Yeah, that's the condition for your victory and whatever. And, like, Lyndon makes sure again, like, so the condition of my victory is they just all need to be lit. And so then he just lights them from...
Yeah, because, like, seeing how the
scripts work.
The scripts work and are constructed to, like, make this, like, mechanism work. He just, like, puts Madra into it.
And lights them all up at once.
And just lights them all up at once.
Yeah.
And it's like, ta-da! and Yaren's like, he cheated.
Yeah, and Ethan's like, oh, well, you know, like, it's
like, he did it faster than you, Yaren.
Yeah. And then he's like, which way do you think is better, Yaren, or whatever? And then they have, like, a kind of argument of their kind of philosophies to...
Yes, and so the different strengths between Yaren and Lyndon, because Lyndon, he thinks outside the box. That's his strong suit, while she's very, like...
Go through.
We've been watching people react to One Piece.
Yes, yeah.
And we just watched...
was Nerdy reacting to
Nerdy
Amazon Lily?
Reacting to Amazon Lily, and, like, not too long before that we were watching Alicia react to
Amazon Lily.
It already escaped me. And Luffy just like, oh, there's a mountain in the way. Punch!
So, like, because I think it's Nerdy's like, some people would go, like, around, some would go over, it just goes through.
Yeah,
very, very Luffy.
And that's Yaren. Yaren's just, like, straightforward.
Yep. Get strong and go straight through.
Yep, well, Lyndon's always had to be more tricksy than that.
Yep.
And it's like, if you can meet your condition, it counts. But also, we do need to actually be training you.
And then he's like, that's a good, like... You know, you both need to learn something from each other. Like, you both have, like, a part of it. Yeah. But also, you need to get, like, a certain amount, like, solidly, you need to learn the right way.
Right. Yeah. It's like, it's like, this has been a little teaching moment, but also this is a tool to be used in a specific way.
Yep. And so then they send him to do it the real way, and I think he gets, like, on the second hit or whatever, like the second stroke on the dummy, he gets hit. Yeah,
it's just like it seems like everything's just happening, like, at once, and Yaren can, like, do it all, but he's just like
basically.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But boy do he train. The boy do love to do some training. It's like, if this will help me improve, this will get me stronger, I'll fucking do it.
Yep. Sorry, I was just trying to find...
No, you're good. Yeah, because it's like, he do train, but then it's like, what else kind of happens in this chapter? Because, like, I know that, like, eventually...
Yeah, so then they get interrupted. Ethan's like, we'll resume this discussion soon, because our guest has finally arrived. If you recall, you have yet to meet my family. And then he introduces his brother, not his brother, Cassius. Yeah, because he goes, my brother, and Cassius comes in, immediately says, the first thing he says is, I'm not his brother.
Yeah.
I'm not your brother. Cousin Cassius it is then. Nor are we cousins, except in the loosest sense, distant relatives.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's sort of like a main family, branch family kind of thing, or at least you kind of, like, find out some of that later.
Yeah, because this is like branch family that's, like, Cassius's.
Yeah.
And
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we do find out, not in this chapter, though, that, like, Ethan's the, like... head of...
Yes, he is the patriarch of this branch of the family.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yep. I think we do find out later. I'm not sure where.
Yeah, because, like, we do definitely, like, find out later, because, like... Did I not mention that I'm the patriarch of the...
Yeah.
I think it's, like, when they're getting to...
Yeah, when they're, like, on the cloud ship.
Yeah, because I'm like, so much happens. I'm like, alright, we're not even, you know... They haven't even gotten to the cloud ship yet.
Yep. And, like, immediately, Cassius is, like, upset about everything with the Jai Clan, and I have my own questions about what I saw from you. If I'm not mistaken, you provoked a Jai Clan exile and killed their heir to one of their vassal sects. Not me, Ethan said proudly. You'll note that young Lyndon here was the one who brought down the Sandpiper heir. And
No, I very specifically didn't do it.
And Lyndon immediately apologizes. And then Cassie says, like, no, I know it's not your fault. I know it's Ethan's fault.
Yep.
Not at all, Lyndon. I am more than aware of what happens when my family's patriarch gets too enthusiastic.
Yeah, there we go.
You were caught up in his plans, and it is I who should apologize on his behalf. Yep, and so this is where he realizes, like, oh, he's the patriarch.
Yep, yeah.
Forgive us. Or, wait, oh, no, I think Lyndon didn't, like
sort
remember,
of, like, yeah.
Like,
didn't, like, necessarily, like, register.
Yeah, because there was just, like, so much going on. Because we do get, like, that scene later.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I also like this little bit of Lyndon being greedy for the protection. Is like Cassius is like, forgive us and do not hold this against our family. On my name as Aurelius, I will send protection for you when you return to your home. You need fear no reprisals from the Jai clan or the Sandviper sect. Either way, the greedy part of Lyndon wondered at the nature of the protection.
Yeah, it was like, ooh, what can I get out of this protection?
Like weapons or what? Like, what can I get?
It's like, ooh, what kind of protection? What can I get out of this?
Yeah. And then Ethan's like, you didn't watch us too closely, I see. Yaren and Lyndon are coming with us. I have adopted them as outer members of the Aurelius family. Mm-hmm. And he's, like, upset and is like, did you inform the branch heads? Like, did you talk to anyone? And he's like,
no.
Nope.
It's like, do I have to? I'm in fucking charge.
His answer, time flows on and plans must keep pace.
Mm-hmm.
Plans is Cassius.
Yeah.
The word falling like a handful of mud. I like that description.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then Ethan kind of switches to Underlord mode.
Yeah.
Like talking to Cassius and is like, tell me what's going on with the Jai. So we get some like some stuff of what's happening with the Aurelius versus the Jai clan, because the Jai are upset with Ethan and everything, so they've been they've been seizing their like assets in Serpent's Grave alone. We've lost the Flame Garden, 3 warehouses, a sword hall, 2 of our medical contractors. Each time they claim they're settling a private debt, and they've sabotaged stuff and just causing all sorts of problems. So like we're just getting like
we're getting a lot of shit from the Jai clan.
Yeah, and seeing what the Aurelius has been dealing with you, and they've been trying to like kind of stop the rest of the Aurelius family from getting Ethan and bringing him back to Serpent's Grave. So they've been like following and like harassing like Cassius and stuff, and they were finally able to get to Ethan because Jai Long attacked. Mm-hmm. And so they were distracted. So they are finally able to leave this, like, the 5 Factions Alliance place here and then go to Serpent's Grave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything. So they're just kind of explaining all of that.
Right.
The Jai clan were trying to prevent me from returning with the Underlord. They weren't bold enough to openly destroy a cloud ship flying the Aurelius colors, but they've made my life difficult for the past few weeks.
Gotcha, yeah.
So then they were attacked by Jai Long, and that's what got them to be
Yeah.
able to even get to Ethan.
Gotcha, yeah, because it's like,
the attack in, like, the next chapter that we're
right,
about to read.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because Jai Long has, so that's what happens. That's what happens when you fucking do all this shit to one of your own.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're about to get fucking... I just keep like making.
Itachi'd.
Yeah.
It really is. We should go to the next chapter because we're talking. We'll get to that.
Yeah. All right, chapter 4. Jai Long is fucking going to town on some people.
Yep. he's like a majority of the Jai have like left the area, so there's like way less people around and stuff, and so but like most of the Sandvipers have stayed around, so they're just going through like the rest of the Jai clan that were staying there. They're pulling them out of their houses. They're like asleep or whatever, pulling them out, and he's checking if they have like Stellar Spear Madra, and if they do, then he's gathering them to eat their remnants later.
Yep.
Not eat, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Absorb.
Yeah.
Just fucking
spear.
Nom. Eat them up.
Yep.
It's one of those things where it's like it's the combination of like you know that thing where we shunned this guy and exiled him and were really shitty to him and his sister, but then also like sent him off to go get the spear that steals people's Madra.
They didn't want him to have it.
Yeah.
Because when they were in the Transcendent Ruins and stuff, like, Ethan's like, no, he can take it. Mm-hmm. Like, if it wasn't for Ethan, they wouldn't have let him keep the spear.
Yeah, but they still sent him to the place where it's at, and it's
that also, like, popped up after, because he was just, like, supposed to be with the Sand Vipers, and then the Transcendent Ruins, like, happened. Because, like, that was pretty recent, that, like, everyone gathered at the Transcendent. Like, it's only been active for, like, a few months and stuff. It was just, like, spraying up. But he's been with the Sand Vipers.
Gotcha.
For, like, a little bit.
Gotcha. I think that I thought that it was like, oh yeah, we'll go send him off to, like, the Transcendent Ruins just to, like, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of, like, give him something to do, but, like, not something important to do. Just hand him something over there.
That's what they did with the Sand Vipers. They're basically, like, the Sand Vipers is, like, our ally in the Desolate Wilds. Like,
so just go hang out with them.
Yeah.
And then they, like,
and they majorly look down on, like, the Desolate Wilds. Like, from what we've seen of the Blackflame Empire, like, appearance means a lot. So, like...
And so then they just kind of, like, found the Transcendent Ruins out there?
Yeah, like, the Transcendent Ruins, like, appeared, like, came up from the ground or whatever, like, at the end of book 1. It's like, the Transcendent Ruins came up in the Desolate Wild, and it's drawing all the aura in the area. So it was like a new phenomenon.
So that had like just
happened.
Okay, because I did not get that impression at all.
Oh yeah, no, like that whole like Five Factions Alliance, it sprung up in about a week. It took them a week to build it. I think they mentioned it or whatever that it like popped up and.
Gotcha, because the spear and all that shit was like ancient shit.
Yeah.
And the ruins are like ancient shit. I'm like, well, this has been here for a while.
Yeah. It has, but it just like came up from the ground recently.
But like, why?
That's a good question.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a bunch of stuff from last book that didn't like stick.
Yeah.
For me. I feel like sometimes stuff like that ends up getting kind of like lost for me.
Yeah.
Reading these when I'm like listening. But yeah. Yeah, it is like, you guys have been really shit to him.
Yeah, they were horrible. They did send him off to middle of nowhere to whatever, you know.
So like, you shouldn't be surprised that this guy's like mad at you and like attacking you and stuff. But also, come on, Jawa.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just like all these like these randos, you know, these aren't even like the people that they're like sending after you. Who are, at least it's like, well, they sent, you know.
He wants like any Jai clan.
Oh yeah.
Is a fine target. For him.
Oh yeah, no. It's just like,
because he like rationalizes to himself at one point. He's like, these people have all like they all came here for like sacred arts. They came here like ready to die or whatever. There's no civilians in the Transcendent Ruins. He's kind of like.
Yeah. This is the nature of the sacred arts. This is the sort of dog-eat-dog world that we live in, of fucking gaining power and all that shit. Struggling for power and artifacts and whatnot.
I think it might be in one of the other sections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like this chapter, it's mostly just sort of like a big fight chapter.
Yeah. It's a good fight and such, and this is where we kind of see his like Jai Long's techniques for the first time.
I think it really, like, because you're like, oh, we get to see his techniques for the first time here, and then I'm like, it only really sticks when later we see Ethan showing off the techniques and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is how his work, because I'm like, oh, right, we did see him fight, and I guess we did see these attacks, but, like, didn't stick in my head at all.
Like, it's hard to, because, like, they'll kind of, like, he'll like artfully describe an attack and stuff and then give it a name and then like kind of move on, so it's hard to sometimes like
I'm also just
keep
like
those straight.
Action just it doesn't, like, I have a hard time visualizing action. Like in Mistborn and stuff, a lot of the fucking like fighting and action stuff is just kind of like action happens in my head. It's just like trying to think about, like, okay, how do all of these pieces actually fit together? What would this look like?
Yeah.
My brain can't do that in, like, a quick manner, and so it's just, like, when it's, like, an audiobook especially, it's just, like, and then some stuff happens.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some fighting happens, they're doing fight things, they sure are doing it. So this chapter, mostly, I'm just like, I don't know, some stuff happens.
Yeah. the main thing with this fight is that, like, the Sand Vipers are helping, and the Jai know that the Sand Vipers are, like, helping Jai Long. And just this line here is just, like, sad with Gakren, where, like, the Jai member that they're, like, fighting, like, about to fight and stuff is like, your life is over for, like, fighting with Jai Long or whatever. And Gakren says, my life ended 3 days ago.
Yeah, talking about
his son dying and everything.
Yeah.
And he's kind of basically throwing himself and the whole sect into this because...
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why do I care about these allies? You know, like...
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the main... I think I just highlight some of his, like, attacks and stuff. Yeah, and he also, like, during, like... about half of this fight, he's trying to fight while also drinking in power, and he's having a really hard time controlling it. So he's like, he like stabs someone, and he has a bunch of power, and so he's trying to like process it and also get rid of it, and so it's like a whole. That's kind of a huge part of
like a big part of like the dynamic of the fight. Yeah,
and so he gets like a bit of power from that and stuff, and then he feels like he's kind of getting less and less from the others that he kills. Like the first one, he gets, like, a lot of power, and then after that, he gets kind of less and less. Or, like, it feels like less and less. And then he absorbs a remnant, and that is, like, much easier to absorb.
Yeah. That's familiar. Yeah. Because I think it's, like, in the moment when I'm listening to a lot of this stuff, it's, like, I'm, like, feeling and going along with it, but then it doesn't, like, stick at all.
It's hard to, like, just, like, call up, you know? But, yeah. I think that's... the main
sort of thrust of that chapter.
Yeah, and then here's where Gakren gives him the spear back. Like we were talking about.
Oh, when Gakren gives, or when Jai Long gives Gakren the spear?
Yeah.
Yeah, like hands it over to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jai Long's like, well, there it goes, you know?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be betrayed after all. Like, he's seen how powerful this spear is, and he's just gonna, you know, use it, and, you know.
He's just gonna take it, and then Gakren, like, takes it, and then he just puts it in a case, and
then gives it back to him.
Gives it back to him.
Yep. And then, like, Jai Long is also worried that the Sand Vipers around him are also gonna take it, and Gakren is just like, like, it's fine, you know, like...
Yep, he's like, he's gonna take the spear and fucking, like, turn it on me, essentially.
Yeah. And he's
like,
just,
nope.
Jai Long is just, like, shocked that he doesn't.
And it's just, like, Jai Long's interesting. It's just, like, he's, like, you get him, and you feel for him.
Yeah.
But also, what he's doing is, like, bad, but also it's, like, it's not like the Jai clan as a whole are, like, very good, but also a lot of these people, they don't deserve it, and so it's just like,
he's
you know,
just, it's like he's not going after like specific like
like the specific people who wronged him. It's
right,
just
or anyone in charge who could like change how the family works, you know, like anything like that. He's just going over like random civilians, which he doesn't think of as civilians, but they are, you know, like
right, exactly. And so it's just like he's a fun character to be like, you feel for him, and you're so happy that he has these, like, allies and stuff.
Yep, but then you also know in a year, this, like, strong, like, sacred artist who's been doing this for a while is about to fight our boy Lyndon. Yep,
and that's no good.
And we're like, yay, Jai Long's getting his revenge. Like, we're like, oh, he's going too far, but, like, he's getting his revenge, getting more powerful.
Yeah. God, it's so funny. I was literally just today thinking about, like, revenge and just like how you know, so often revenge is this thing where it's like revenge is bad.
Yeah.
Revenge is
if you're doing it for justice or for a more like detached reason, then it's like
it's just like, oh, this is like, you know, you'll get swallowed up by it, it'll be self-destructive. And then I just think about how, like, in part 6 of JoJo's, they're just like, nah, revenge is pretty cool actually. Hermes fucking, like, kills this motherfucker who killed her sister, and it's actually pretty fucking dope, actually. We're pretty happy about it. And everyone's like, yeah, dude, that was it's like, we got no problems with this. You killed that motherfucker, you sucked.
There's a thing somewhere in something, but there's too many things that I could spoil.
Yeah. It's just like it's just so fun. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
So often revenge is bad, but then in Part 6 of JoJo is just like, nah, man, you get your revenge. Hell yeah. We love it. We love revenge over here. But yeah.
That's probably
That's
4.
it for chapter 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things. There's so many things it could be. I'm like, are you talking about Red Rising? Are you talking about, like, later in Cradle? Or even,
Yep.
some other thing?
It's great questions.
It feels, I don't know.
It's not Red Rising.
Yeah, because I'm probably not going to read that.
Yeah. Probably not. I mean, you could if you want to, but
yeah, it's like I could, but
it
it doesn't sound like the kind of thing that I would want to with just like how you've described the.
Yeah. It's gory and a lot, but it's also I like its political nature. I think you would find that aspect of it interesting. Is like
right.
Like I think it's
because it's like I definitely can handle some like goriness and stuff. It's just like it's never my like favorite.
Yeah.
It's another thing that I try and like focus on too much, but also it's like I don't know. I feel like it depends.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's sort of like what counts and what it is. Because I mean, like reading like Magnus, you have like all this like like all the fucking like flesh statements and stuff. But still, it's like it's it's all different.
Yeah. Red Rising's interesting.
Because it's like I don't like gross.
Yeah, it's very gross.
And it's
like,
just like
that's
it just sounds like unpleasant.
It is like and especially like one of the most loved characters, Severo, is one of the grossest characters.
Yeah.
He's gross. Like
and I just
a lot of them are gross.
And I'm just like, that sounds unpleasant. That sounds like a bad time. And like maybe maybe but it just sounds like a bad time.
It did take me a bit of getting used to when I read it. But now that I have, I really enjoyed like the style and everything. It did take me a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep, that's chapter 4.
Yeah.
Chapter 5.
Yeah, so we start with Lyndon training on the dummy course, and he's kind of like getting used to his iron body and just trying to do the course, get faster, and all of that.
Because he's got like this body that's like it's so like fast and strong, but he has to like get used to it and learn how to like use it properly, and also isn't everything.
Yeah. And he also doesn't have, like, a ton of Madra, so, like, fueling the course is, like, difficult, so, like, it's hard for him to do it a lot and stuff.
Yeah, it's, like, because he doesn't have so much Madra and his, like, body runs on Madra now.
Yeah, and then he runs out, like...
Yeah, he runs out, and then it's like, uh-oh.
Yep. And, he's been doing it for, like, a while,
yeah, because, like, Yaren's like, how long have you been at this? And it's like, he maybe wouldn't need to sleep if he just kept...
Yeah, basically, he's like, I've been here for like a little bit. I've stopped to cycle 2 or 3 times. Maybe it's 4 or 6. How long has he been? How long have I been here? Like, and like they kind of realize in this chapter, like Lyndon realizes that his iron body is like
pretty special.
Yeah, it like his body heals both like fatigue and like any type of thing, like it'll just pull from his Madra like automatically and heal his body, so he can basically work until his like Madra or like spirit hurts and such. And he's like, well, what's that limit? He immediately is like, well, how long can I go? How much extra training can I get in?
Yep.
And all of that. And Yaren is a little bit jealous of his iron body, but
yeah.
Because like first she's trying to be like, oh, you gotta like slow down, like no, like because like you got a new iron body, like you might be like overdoing it, and then she realizes like, oh no, he can take like a lot more, like he can do a lot more with his iron body than like
and like a lot of people can.
Yep.
Yep. Ethan really hooked him up with a good iron body.
Yep. Yeah, like she checks his cores and stuff, and it's like he's like, wait, what's wrong? What have I done? Did I cycle too much? Am I dying? You're about 1,000 miles from dying, as expected of an underlord, I guess. Ethan? Did Ethan do something to me? He handed you that iron body, true? Then I didn't remember Ethan handing him anything.
But the point still stands.
Which I just love that little,
It's like, oh, no, he handed it to me, but like I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like I mean, he went through. He definitely went through it to get it.
Yeah,
but also he would not have known about it without Ethan. You know, like
it's like he needed Ethan, but he also like he still had to like do it and like endure it and all that. Should be like, well, your master handed you your iron body.
And this from Yaren. You could work into your body until your core's dry. Pardon my ignorance, but isn't that normal? It's normal for the undying lizards of the Blue Fire Desert. I hear it's normal for some plants. People get tired sometimes.
You're so sleepy.
The little puppy curled up in a sleep.
Yeah, she's not like fully curled up. She's got like her little paws sticking up, but she's just like got her little eyes closed, and she's so cute. They were very cute this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, they were also being menaces, but that's just, you know, the normal state of things. But they were just, like, on top of me. I'm like, well, can't go to work.
Right.
Can't go to work, trapped under a dog.
Yep. That's a good excuse.
Yep. But yes, we were saying.
Yeah. And so then, after they, like, talk about his iron body for a bit, Lyndon asks, like, do I have a chance, like, with Jai Long? Like, am I gonna be able to, you know... Can I do this?
Yeah, is it even, like, possible?
Yeah, and Yaren's, like, very blunt. You've got no time at all. Sleep or no sleep. If Ethan doesn't have something planned for you, then you're dry leaves to the fire.
Yeah, it's like, there's gotta be something special in order to get you to where you actually need to be.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm sorry for being so blunt and whatever. And it's like, when I was iron, my master didn't press me to fight a high gold in years' time. That's a rotten gamble, no matter what training he gives you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lyndon is like, well, I don't want to gamble. Let's think of some other options. So he's like, there are other ways to get him before the duel. He eats, he sleeps, just like anyone else. He has enemies, he has a family.
Mm-hmm.
And, Yaren, dark plans for an iron, she said. Do you want to hold his crippled little sister hostage, do you think? Do you want to go to his enemies for help instead of Ethan? And then he's like, well, how about poison? And then Yaren's like, oh, how about... yeah, you could poison his food, then wait till he falls asleep, then put a different poison on your knife, so even if he wakes up, and it's what happened with her master.
Right.
And so he's like, ooh, I didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, he's basically like, I'm sorry, I won't do that. Or like, he doesn't say he won't do it. He says, yeah, Yaren's like, they were dogs and cowards, don't think like them. You don't learn to stand against your enemies by crawling in the dirt. As you say, I have no excuse. You're on the path now, stable and true. In a year, you won't recognize yourself. He certainly couldn't disagree with her now, not to her face, but he filed his plans away in the back of his mind. Surely Ethan wouldn't mind if he prepared for contingencies. So he's still thinking about it, just not to Yaren. Like, he just won't say it to Yaren.
Right. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's so kind of like,
yeah,
what
think
if,
about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it was insensitive of me to say to you.
Mm-hmm. But, like...
I'll make my own plans, I guess.
Yeah.
Or think about it, at least, you know?
Right, mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then Ethan pops in. Oh, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. I was just being polite, I heard it all.
Yep.
So Ethan pops back in, and kind of explains the whole situation with the duel, what will happen politically... Mm-hmm. With the Aurelius family and the Jai clan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read some of it. The Jai clan has all but declared war on our families. All but is it war or no war? If they declared it openly, the Emperor's forces would cripple the aggressor in a day. But the Sky Sworn stay out of petty squabbles between clans. So that's a reference to Skysworn. Skysworn. That's the title of the next book, is Skysworn.
Yeah. Could you run that by me again? Sorry.
Which...
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, because the Emperor, like, the current, like, ruling family over the Blackflame Empire.
Yep, the Naru clan.
They're the Skysworn?
It seems like they are part of the Empire in some way.
Yeah, the Skysworn, but it doesn't really, like, explain what they are at all.
It just, they've been thrown in like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I might have missed, like, a few references because, like, they've mentioned it a few times as just, like, a kind of, like, faction or something with the Empire.
Interesting.
Or, like, affiliated with the Empire in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the name of the next book.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm really, I don't know, like, are we gonna have the duel this book? Because we're already, like, halfway through this book.
And it hasn't been too long.
No.
It's the duel's in a year, so, I mean, there could be... Mm-hmm. It's been, like, a few months.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, I don't know. Because like, mentioning the Skysworn right now in regards to, like, this duel.
Yeah, that they're...
That they, like, wouldn't...
Yeah, that they're, like, staying out out of it or whatever.
Of this, like, squabble between the two families. So it's like, yes, like, what's gonna kind of, like, get them involved later.
And so then the whole thing is, like, the Jai clan will claim Jai Long. They still won't take him back, but once the duel is over, they can pretend he was one of them all along. He wins, they take the credit, he dies, we killed a Jai High Gold, and they'll use it as an excuse for open war. And Ethan's like, I mean, I have plans for whatever happens or whatever. I have plans for you. Besides, I still have use for your victory, and everything. Because Lyndon wants him to, like, call off the duel or whatever. Not to overstep my bounds, but the situation has changed. Couldn't you tell the Jai clan that you changed your mind? And he's like, well, based on, like, reputation and all of that, like, I put this out there. I can't just, like... take it back. Everything is all kind of on reputation like that.
Right, yeah. It's like, what does my word mean if I just go back on this?
Right. Yeah, and then he's like, besides, I still have use for your victory. And then he's like, however, there's another option. I can allow you to leave the family. Your actions would not reflect on my word if you weren't a subject of the Aurelius.
Right. It's like, if you're not part of the family, then me saying, oh, y'all will duel, you can just be like, what does that have to do with me?
Yeah.
But honestly, it also kind of feels like, without him being part of the family and, like, being a part of this, like, formal duel, it's like, well, what's just stopping Jai Long from being, attacking. Like, from just being like, oh, sweet.
Yep, exactly.
So, oh, sweet, you're connected to literally no one?
No one, yep.
How about you're dead?
Yep.
And you got pure Madra, I can suck that up.
Because Lyndon thinks, like, at one point, like, oh, maybe the Fishers could take me to, like, True Gold or whatever, but, like, I don't even think that's really an option for him.
No, it's like, they do have a True Gold, but, like, it's I don't really think that would do well.
Yeah. Like, and I don't think they could protect you from...
They couldn't protect you from Jai Long. Yeah. Not at this point.
Yeah. But so then Ethan gives him, like, some time to, like, think it over. Because he's basically, I'll be as clear as I can. The Aurelius family employs hundreds of thousands of people, and their livelihoods will be impacted by the results of this duel. If you stay, I will do whatever I have to so you win, even if it kills you. Killing me to win? I see. How likely is that to happen exactly? It's my last resort. I have every confidence that I can race you to victory without destroying your future. I can't say you will enjoy the process, though, and I will catch you every time you try and run away.
Yeah.
And so Lyndon's like, I need some time to consider, and Ethan's like, well, we're leaving in the morning, so they come, like, meet us, my cloud ship's out there. If you don't see us, then we're gone, or whatever, but yeah. Yeah,
and then he thinks on it.
Yep. Yeah, he's, like, training and, like, thinking about it, or whatever, and then he falls asleep.
He falls asleep, and then he wakes up, and he's like, oh no! And then
he's like, I missed it! Because he had decided, or whatever, and that's when he started training. Like, he was sitting there thinking, and then when he made his decision, he started training.
Yep. And then it turns out, oops, we're already on the sky ship.
Yep. Yep. So then Lyndon is very confused and looking around because he's now in the sky. And at first he's like, did Suriel do something?
Yes.
Like, what happened? Oh, no, wait, I'm on a cloud. And then, like, Ethan comes in and, like...
It's like, don't worry, I went ahead and collected you.
Yeah, it's like, I knew you made your decision, so, you know.
I'm literally always watching, so I knew you made your decision.
Yep.
And I just, like, collected you, don't worry about it.
Yep. And so then there's, like, 2 buildings now on the on this cloud ship thing. The training hall and then the, like, other building, like the house building.
So I essentially just imagine, like, a fucking flat...
It's a flat, like, cloud base, basically.
Yeah, it's just like, here's just a flat platform of cloud with just 2 buildings stuck on it and then, like, a little control panel. I think the control panel is, like, in, like, the other building. That would make sense. In my head, it was just like, we're just standing in the middle, and just like, and then we have this little pillar here, and it's, you know.
Yeah, because I think Cassius is, like, when he walks in there, he sees Cassius at the controls.
Cassius, the straight man.
Yeah, poor Cassius.
Yeah.
And,
truly the straight man to Ethan's weird man.
Yep. And so we hear the name of this ship. This is Sky's Mercy, the personal cloud ship of the family's patriarch. just talking about flying around and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that they were spotted because the Cloudhammer school spotted you then. I passed through a group of their disciples up here, so just like passed them by cycling in the air or whatever, and that's how they were spotted.
Yeah, it's interesting because we just hear about this like, oh, the Cloudhammer, whatever, and like, you know, it's just like kind of glossed over.
Yep, just a random
thing. But it's just fun to think about, just like a clan of people just like up in the clouds, just like doing their thing.
Yep.
It's like, what you doing? You making hammers out of clouds? How's that? What's that like? What's that mean? I'd love to know.
Yep. And talking about like moving putting the barn on the cloud ship and everything. You lifted the entire barn off the ground. I dropped quite a few scales for the Fishers to build that training facility. It would be a waste to leave it all behind. We had to expand the cloud base a bit, but it's well within acceptable limits. Not well within, Cassius. And then Fisher Gesha comes up, and look who else came with us. Fisher Gesha, and she's sick, like air sick, and
yeah. She's got motion sickness.
Yeah, motion sickness. And Lyndon is immediately concerned. As soon as he sees her.
It's like, oh no, did they just like kidnap you?
Yeah. Fisher Gesha, did you choose to come along? He didn't want to say too much because Cassius and Ethan could hear him perfectly well. But he could all too easily picture Ethan snatching up the Soulsmith on a whim.
Mm-hmm. Yoink.
Yeah, it's like, did you want to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like yeah, like I'm old and like I want to see the sights, you know, like like
it's a big wide world out there.
Yeah, like and like what an opportunity. And also like I can't leave you to stumble around in your soulsmithing, so I'll like teach you whatever. And Lyndon tears up and he's like, you stayed with me, and it's
very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
because when she was like, it's like, you can come with us. Nope.
And
like,
ran off.
And then they're like, well, okay, and I'm like, how? What? I know we're supposed to have her with us. I know at least that much. So like, what's? It was like, you know, but she's just a little tsundere, you know.
She had to think it over.
She had a lot.
Like her whole sect and family and everyone is like all here and everything. So.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's like it's understandable why it'd be like a tough choice and all that. It's just like funny after immediately being like very immediately strongly like no.
Yep.
To them like okay. Okay. I guess I can come along.
I love Fisher Gesha.
Yeah, she's fun.
And so then they get like their kind of training regimen for the next month. Their like kind of goals, their next goals. Yaren's goal is to beat her previous time on the training dummy course with only her gold sign.
Right, yeah, because she's having to learn how to like control her gold sign.
Yep.
And there's some interesting stuff going on with that.
Yeah, like I like this conversation with her and Ethan, like, because like she doesn't trust him, and like.
Yep, she's like, this is my master's remnant, and it's like talking to me, and I need to like listen to it.
Yeah. And she's like, it's not possible for me to like to do this whole thing with my gold sign and everything. I'd have a better chance of clearing it with my bright smile and winning personality.
Which I do love that she's self-aware.
Yeah. And then Lyndon's goal for the next month is to be able to clear all 18 dummies, it doesn't matter the time, and to bring his second core up to iron, and to, he has some goals from Fisher Gesha to identify all the properties of 7 basic aspects of Forged Mantra. And so they have their stuff, and Ethan gives Lyndon the 4 corners rotation pill. So it's like a special pill to take like basically every day.
Yeah, he's getting like pills every day as he like cycles and stuff.
Yeah, because Ethan wants him ready to be able to advance to Jade when they get to Serpent's Grave. So he's supposed to take and cycle as much as he can with those.
And doesn't he teach him like a new fancy cycling technique?
Is it...
And I think jumped the gun on the whole Yaren remnant thing.
Yeah. But that it is something that's like come up like a little bit, But
yeah.
But yeah, at this point she's like, it's not possible. Like, oh, like I can't do it. Yeah, because there's this little line, because she like doesn't trust him to like train her really. Like she's like thinking about her, like her master and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, you want me to fight with this thing, like her gold sign? You think perhaps that I don't know what it takes to reach high gold? You think you know better than I do which exercises will allow you to integrate your remnant skills and abilities? If your master left you a more complete training regimen for you to follow after low gold, then by all means use that. I didn't aim to say that, Underlord. You're young, and I'm unaccustomed to explaining myself. I'll try to be clearer in the future, but do as I tell you. It's not so far apart from what my master used to have me do. The only difference is that you trusted him. And so it's just like that, you know.
Yeah.
Trust comes with time, and during that time, you will clear the course of your gold sign, or I'll tie you to a string and drag you behind the house like a kite. It's just very Ethan.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta trust me. Like I know what I'm doing. Also, a little joke.
Yeah. A little joke. Wink.
Wink. Right. Exactly.
I'm joking. It's like, I don't like that. Ethan is someone else who would be a nightmare to actually like be around, but is so fun to like watch. Just like talk to people. It's like all these people would...
Oh, yeah.
Like, Lyndon would be... Like, Lyndon and Yaren would be, like, the most normal to talk to.
Yeah.
But also, like, Yaren would come to our world and be like, this is lame and... Y'all are lame and weak and you're all babies.
Yeah,
you all look like babies. To me. It's very weird. Stop it. And Lyndon would be like, wow. I can't believe it. I you know, compared to all of you, me at my lowest compared to all of y'all would be like crazy. What a world.
Right.
You'd be like, fascinating.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I can't advance here, so
I gotta go.
So I gotta go. Yeah. And then Ethan's just like watching everyone.
Yeah, and we already talked about the pill or whatever they're supposed to take.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and he tells him to put the parasite ring on and use that, because like that makes it like twice as easier to cycle.
Yeah, it makes it the pill makes it easier to cycle. The ring makes it harder to cycle, and so by doing them both, it makes it feel like normal
cycling, but you get twice the benefit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's fucking Rock Lee weight training.
Yeah.
One of these days, he's gonna take the parasite ring off and be like, whoa.
Well, because he actually does do that like. Later on when he's doing the training course, like again or whatever, he like starts to do well, and then he puts the parasite ring on until he does the same, until he can do the same with the parasite ring on. Off.
Yep, it's gonna be like fighting Jai Long, and it's like, take the weights off, he takes his parasite ring off. I'm also now just imagining like fucking 10 parasite rings, like one on each finger, and he's like...
That's a lot.
It'd be a lot, but it feels like some bullshit Ethan would do. I mean Lyndon. I get Lyndon and Ethan, just Lyndon, Ethan.
Yeah.
I get them mixed up constantly, and it really annoys me. I'm like... It's some bullshit that Lyndon would do, but also some bullshit that Ethan would do. Ethan be like, here. It's like, alright, now put a second one on, bitch.
Lyndon's like, fine,
I'll do it. It's like,
I bet you won't do a third.
I'll do a fourth. You fool, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like he's got more ring than finger at this point.
I love that.
Yeah. It's a parasite gauntlet on each hand.
So, yeah, I got distracted.
What else we got this chapter?
Cassius is talking about, like, how rough Ethan can be and stuff. It's like, I would urge you to remember...
Yeah, the thing with, like, the girl who ran off into the woods or whatever.
Yeah, I would urge you to remember what happened when you took over the training of our family coppers. I personally rescued a girl from his training into a place called... Okay, let's try that again. I personally rescued a girl who ran from his training into a place called the Thousand Beast Forest. She survived by hiding from two-headed bears. I found her crouched in a cave, dirty and bleeding, but she begged me to leave rather than take her back to train.
And then Nathan's like...
Don't worry, I don't train my students like that anymore. I was far too lenient before. After weeks of my training, that girl should have been fighting those bears with her fists.
Yep.
If you don't feel like you're gonna die when you're training, then you're doing it wrong. That's from Yaren.
Yeah. Yeah, should have been fighting those bears. Two-headed bears feels like a D&D creature. Like owl bears. Yeah, it's like a two-headed bear.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I
anything else special about it? No, she's got two heads.
I have a very soft spot for owl bears since our owl bear.
Yeah, our owl bear adventure.
Yeah.
We did a little one shot.
Yeah.
That a friend ran. that a friend ran, and we rode a couple owl bears.
Yep.
And I used, like, greater invisibility on one of them, which made it invisible and not go uninvisible when it attacked. And so we just let loose an invisible owl bear into a cave of people.
Yep.
And it was great.
And then it was like two monks. So one monk climbing the ceiling, the other, I was a shadow monk going from shadow to shadow. Just like watching these owl bears, invisible owl bears just take out like most of the people.
Because it was like one invisible owl bear and one visible owl bear. So like the owl bear comes in and it's like, oh no, it's attacking. And then it just gets fucking one shot by the second invisible owl bear. It's the invisible owl bear that really gets you. It's not the visible owl bear that gets you, it's the invisible one. And then I was a bard, so I was just at the mouth of the cave, just like hiding and then popping out and like vicious mockery. Bardic inspiration goes back. Vicious mockery. Healing word goes back to hiding. Polymorph into a whale. just to have some HP.
For an attack.
Yeah, because like a dragon used its breath, and I'm just like, become a whale so that I can have enough HP to survive. And then run. And then Big B's hand you like up to the dragon so that you could just like keep punching it.
Just punch the dragon.
It was a good time.
It was a great.
Just like there's no greater satisfaction than just letting loose an invisible owl bear on a cave.
Yep.
Greater invisibility, so it's just like all of a sudden there's a man there, and then next thing you know, just fucking one shot by an invisible owl bear, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? He's just gone. Yeah, owl bears are great. The one time that I ran a short campaign, it started with like owl bears have been attacking people in this village, and they go and they fight them, and then they find the like owlbear cub and like adopt it. Yeah. Classic D&D shit. The same shit happens literally in fucking Baldur's Gate 3. Where you can go get a baby owlbear.
Owlbears are very cute.
They're very cute. They're like, it's like, why is it this? But don't worry about it. It's just like, because
Avatar.
It doesn't have wings. It doesn't have wings.
Yeah.
It's just a bear.
Yeah.
But with a beak instead.
Yeah.
And feathers.
It really gives me Avatar.
It does. It's very Avatar. I've had this thought of like I want to do a campaign where there's like mad scientist who creates the mad scientist who invented owl bears, but there's just like a bunch of different varieties of owl bear, some more bear, some more owl, and then eventually inside you would find the perfected owl bear that actually has wings.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah. But anyway.
I love it.
Owl bears are great. I believe that team named themselves the Red Owls. Yeah, and they led like a communist uprising in the wizards village to overthrow the wizards who accidentally summoned some mind flayers. They're like, we didn't mean to summon the mind flayers. We're like, don't care, killing you anyway. And it's like, well, alright, I guess that's one way to do it. Peasant uprising against the wizard college. It works for me.
Yeah.
Here's some strong poison from a guy named Shady Tim. I was so happy. Like, here's Shady Tim. He sells poison and alcohol. Don't worry about the alcohol. It's definitely not poison. Alcohol's already a type of poison, so don't really worry about it.
It's just a different poison.
Yeah, they didn't continue the session on. They
Yeah.
didn't continue that campaign, but Shady Tim was like a fae being. that like gave them Fey wine and crazy poison.
I love it.
Yeah, but anyway, that's so that's chapter 5. Yeah. What I took away from chapter 5 was owlbears. I think that was what was important about chapter 5.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was owlbears and Shady Tim. See, the reason why I made Shady Tim was because my buddy Evan was in the group, and he's our normal DM, and he one time had a character named Unscrupulous. It was like Unscrupulous Tim or something like that. Or no, it's like Unscrupulous Jimmy.
Yeah.
It was Unscrupulous Jimmy and Mike Hawk, aka Skinny Penis. Yeah. Because there's that one vine. Yeah. Where it's like, what up? It's your boy. Skinny Penis. Yep. Yeah. And so that's what we named the character, and then we're like doing combat, and my buddy LeBorn is just like, all right, so then Skinny Penis is gonna go over here, and it's just become normal. Yep. And so I'm like, I think we need to take a moment to re-remember that this guy's fucking named Skinny Penis. and so then of course Evan was like, well, actually his real name is Mike Hawk. So I'm like, well, here's Shady Tim then. Because that's funny.
I love it.
Yep. Potion seller. I need your strongest potions. Have you seen that video? The potion seller one?
I think so.
Where the guy's got like using like the filters to like make his face all like stretched, and it's like potion seller. I need your strongest. You're not strong enough for my most powerful potions. Anyway, again, chapter 5. The important thing about chapter 5. Owlbears and potion seller.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty. Chapter 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been very tangenty today.
Very.
It's like, oh, what if we did extra chapters and we're even more tangenty than usual?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We start with Jailong. And we see Jai-Chen is trying to like put some clothes on and is like struggling to try and like get ready because they're finally packing up to leave like the Transcendent Ruins and go to Serpent's Grave. So it's gonna be like
it's gonna be a little while.
Yep. And she's like, I want to go with you or whatever, and Jailong's like I have people here to like look after you. You can like stay. It's like gonna suck. Like he's like it'll take weeks to get there, and we don't have a cloud ship this time. It'll be painful and messy, and you'll hate every inch of the journey. She's like, if you hear me complain, leave me behind. And so like they like she's like, fine, okay, like we'll bring you then. And it's like gets her ready and everything. Gakrin has like a cloud like brought up for her, and he's like, we'll put up a pavilion for her to keep like the like weather off, and it's just like the way that they treat like Jai-Chen and stuff compared to like how we've heard like that they treated her in like the Jai clan and stuff.
Yeah.
Is just
the Sandvipers are just actually being very kind and friendly to the two of them.
Yep, and they like just like make her comfortable and help her out and stuff. And they also. Jai-Chen does suggest like we don't have to go or whatever, and so they do have a discussion like it's like, well, I've already started, and there's like people like kind of on my tail, and he's also thinking like, but like I haven't done so much that I can't come back from, like we can disappear, and because like Jai-Chen mentions a hidden valley in like the west, hidden valley that was that occasionally emerged to trade with the outside. The inhabitants were weak but protected by a curse. And she's been like obsessed with it. Yeah,
and so it's like, what if we went to Sacred Valley? We don't know there's a Sacred Valley. But what if we went to Sacred Valley? And it's like, curse?
Yep.
What's this about a curse exactly?
That's interesting. Yep. So like they think about like going like to try and find that, and like
and just go and like disappear, which is funny because it's like I think like at the end of the last book it's like possible futures, and one of them was like
she convinces in a crisis of conscience she convinces him to like leave. And
it's just like, nope, we're not doing that. We see the paths laid out before us, and seeing where it's gonna actually end up going.
Yep, and then he kind of, like, convinces her. He's like, we can hurt the clan if we go east. We can take revenge for Crawl. Do you really want to go west instead? And, like, he's kind of, like, second-guessing himself. Like, again, it's, like, kind of crisis of conscience that was talked about in, like, that. It was, like, he had burned to avenge himself on the Jai clan for years, but now that he had the means, he was starting to realize what a monumental task he'd begun. To abandon it now, before he had gone too far, had a certain appeal.
It's like, maybe it would be a good idea to just not do this, but then it's like, no, I gotta.
Yeah, and she's like, all right, like, I'll go with you. Let's go then.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jailong also offers Gakra, and he's like, you can just, like, fly me there. Like, you don't have to, like, risk your, like, self and, like, the clan for this and everything. And Gakran's like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I think you have, like, a chance. You know, I'm not doing it for nothing.
Right. Yeah, because it's like, they're, like, vassals to the Jai clan. So it's like, we're, you know, this is
fully going against...
Yeah. This is, we're moving on up.
Yeah.
If we can pull this off.
Yeah, and if we can't, then we're... destroyed
we're
by the Jai. Like,
we're absolutely fucked, you know. Yeah, there's no backing out now. Like, you could maybe back out and run away, but, like, we kind of can't at this point.
Yeah, they probably couldn't. Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe if they all ran off together, but it's just like,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, they could probably, like, hide in the desolate wilds and they would ignore, you know.
Yeah.
Like, there'd be some fighting, but, like, the typical, you know.
Right, yeah. It's like, we helped kill these, like, random, lowly, like, Jai people.
Yeah.
But, you know, we could still, like, run away.
Yeah, or they could still make it up to
the
Jai.
Yeah.
You know.
But it wouldn't be
happy. It would be the best, but, you know.
It'd be making it up painfully, I'm sure. But, yeah. But no, we're back in this horse. Put all our money on Jailong.
Yep. Yeah, so then it's just kind of more of that, like, conversation and them starting to towards Serpent Grave.
Yep.
And so then we switch back to Lyndon and the group.
Woo.
This is, like, kind of some of their journey on Sky's Mercy. They're, like, talking about how the cloud ship works, like, how the scripts work, and, like, how much Madra it takes to refill it. Like, normally it would take, like, 3 to 4 days for it to, like,
just, like, collect
vital aura from, like,
the clouds around and stuff.
Yeah, from, like, everything around. And so they, like, set it down to, like, recharge for, like, the whole day, basically. And, so while that's happening, they're, like, doing chores and doing all that. Lyndon's like, I'm not gonna use Madra, and I'm gonna, like, work on my, physical...
just, like, regular physical
because,
training.
like, I'm not doing any specific training, so, like, I gotta do something.
Right.
And so he's doing that, and then they, like... Then he fights a remnant.
Yeah,
that's the remnant that he, like, with Yaren, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, this, like, if I bleed and cry or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, like, let me try. Help me, like, if I like, bleed and scream. And then as soon as he bled and screamed, Yaren took care of it.
Yep. Bleed and scream, bled and scram.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then after that, like, Ethan has, like, been napping all day. Yeah. And so then at the end of the day, the script is about a third, it's like about a third filled or whatever.
And then Ethan's just like, let me just whoop, and just, like, fills it all the way out.
The rest of it all in a second.
Yeah.
And Lyndon and Fisher Gasha are, like, shocked. And, like, how is that even possible? Yaren and Cassius are just, like, normal, like, this is possible.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, because I was like, either Yaren has seen, like, her master do some shit like this, or Yaren... It's like, Yaren could be like, I've seen my master do some shit like this, or, I've never seen anything like this, but, like, this might as well be possible. Yeah. Or she's just way better at, like, covering her surprise than everyone else.
I think my assumption was the first.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like first or second of, like, even if I've not seen something exactly like this,
I've seen enough to know that this is, like, well within, this is, like, possible.
Right,
for what he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, because he's like, good enough, I'm on a schedule. And, does that. Yep, and so then it's, he brought... After they get, like, flying again or whatever, it's like a bit of, like, a month-long montage in this, like, chapter. So, like, he brought his second core up to iron after like a week.
And he's like disappointed because he's like, oh, I hope I get a little something extra. It's like, do you have a second body? Then getting your second core to iron's not really gonna do anything.
Yeah. How many bodies do you have? One? Well, there you go then, from Yaren.
Yeah.
And instead of like one pill a day, he's taking one every other day because like it's just how much he can process.
Right.
And then he's like thinking about how much that is like monetarily or like scales and like all of that. He's like,
right.
That's like 15,000 scales. How much is that? Like, you know, compared to what I saw on the wagon, compared to, you know,
right.
All of that. And so then he got to the point in the training course he could clear 6 of the dummies, and then he started using the parasite ring, and which knocked him back down.
Right.
Because he was like improving at that, and then he, like, wore the parasite ring, knocked him back down. It was like trying to practice swordplay with a heavy rock strapped to the end of his blade. But when he returned to defeating 6 dummies consistently, even with the parasite ring on, he felt like he was making real progress.
Lyndon, have you ever done any sword fighting ever? You were given a spear once and you didn't know how to use it properly. You whacked the guy with it. I don't believe that you know any... He's
not done, like, weapons training. Even all the training he's doing now is, like, hand-to-hand.
Yeah, it's like he...
Like, with, you know, like, sacred arts, but...
Right, yeah. It's like, Lyndon, you don't know fucking what sword training's like. You don't know what it's like to have a heavy rock strapped to the end of a sword. You're just guessing.
Just picking it up from Yaren.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then, like, in this bit, Yaren's she's frustrated because she's not making as much progress as she's seeing Lyndon make. Because Lyndon's starting from way lower, and so she's just, like, feeling frustrated. She's, like, feeling that she's fallen behind, even though, like...
She's still, like, ahead.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, Lyndon is sort of making progress faster.
Yeah, like, visible, you know.
Right. Which, that kind of makes me think of, like, whenever I was first, like, going to the gym with, like, my buddy Ethan.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, you know, because I'm new...
Yeah.
I make more rapid, visible progress while he's still, like, you know... slowly incrementing his, like, max and stuff because he's been doing it for longer. And so you just start hitting that, like, plateau, you know?
Yeah.
She's gotta, you know, break on through to the other side.
Yep, exactly.
Gotta learn how to use that gold sign, but she's like, it's impossible.
Yeah. And then she's also getting messed up with her master's remnant and everything. And then we get into his soulsmithing training. He's supposed to forge discs and then forge needles, and then he just
jumps straight to needles because he's a tryhard.
Yep. And he succeeds with all 6, with 6, but there's like 7 to forge. Because Fisher Gesha wanted him to come to her to say that he couldn't do something, and she's like, and I guess that didn't really work, did it? Like, you pushed yourself anyway, you know, like, you still, you know.
Yeah, because which one is it that, like, can't be formed into the needle?
Life Madra.
Yeah, because it's just, like, so you can form water into a needle, you can make that solid, but, like, life, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make solid life needles? What does that even mean?
Yeah, the 7 most common aspects of Madra: fire, earth, wind, water, force, blood, and life.
Yeah, and it's, like, other, like, aura is also kind of abundant, but hard to, like, gather.
Yeah, like light aura and stuff. And then, like, Lyndon was like, oh, like, feeling proud about the Wei clan because, like, they had techniques with light and dreams, which are, like, kind of harder to sort of gather. Yeah, because talking about, like, they would cycle, like, first thing in the morning when, like, the sun was, like, when
the sun just starts shining, and they're, like, sort of, like...
And they're still, like, dreams, because, like, it's still, like, really early morning, you know?
Yeah, but it's still early morning, and, like, you sort of, like, just woke up, and so there's still, like, dream aura, like, around for them to, like, gather, which is interesting. Part of me is, like, wonders if he will end up sort of, like, learning the path of the White Fox at all.
Yeah.
Considering it was just, like, you know, it's such an interesting school.
Yeah. And
it is, like, you know, his school that he,
he, like, grew up in, like, his like, family and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you because I wanted you to say you couldn't do it. Thought it might get you to think about your limitations. Doesn't seem to have worked, did it? And then we go to... Ethan's teaching him the cycling technique. I like this, like, he just, like, Ethan appears, because that's what he always does. After about an hour, he slowly opened his eyes to see Ethan peeking in through a crack in his door. The first few times Ethan had popped up unexpectedly, Lyndon's reactions had been entertaining enough that the Underlord kept trying to catch him off guard.
Yep.
But you could get used to anything if it happened often enough.
Yeah.
Ethan had done so much for him already. The least he could do in return was ignore the Underlord's quirks.
It's like, no, but he would rather you not ignore his quirks because that's more fun.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're not doing him a favor by ignoring his quirks. You're really, you know, you'd prefer it if you were to continue to be
that
surprised.
Just means he needs to try harder, which is also fun.
Which is also fun. That's true. That's true. So he's got to get more creative in how to, like, surprise him. Yeah.
And so, Ethan, like, runs in and kicked the door open and grinned like a child playing a prank. Cycle, now! And so then he teaches him, like, this, like, jade cycling technique.
Right.
To, like, help him prepare for jade, and such.
Yeah, because it's, like, the thing that sort of makes you jade is having a jade cycling technique.
Yeah.
It, like, does something to you.
But to reach jade, you need to Wow. I can't speak. I almost said sporm a spiral.
Sporm a spiral.
I keep, like...
Right, you have, like, a special cycling... You have a jade cycling technique that, like, forms a spiral in your soul that you can fit... the
spinning motion will condense the quality of your Madra, increase your receptivity to spiritual forces, speed up Madra recovery, help you control all sorts of benefits. He stops...
Yeah, because it's like they
Eventually, the suction force will become strong enough to contain a remnant.
Right. It's like it's the spiral that can like suck in surrounding Madra. And
so
aura.
Like suck in a remnant or suck in like a huge influx of power, which is like
right. Yeah.
What we see.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. So like because like remnants are sort of like made of Madra.
Yes. Yeah.
It like that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just like making a space to hold all the Madra that you're gonna need in order to like get to like gold and stuff.
Yeah.
Preparing yourself to contain that much energy.
Yeah. So he runs them through this like really really difficult cycling technique. It's like
it's
moving this like heavy stone, like picturing like rolling very very slowly rolling a stone up the hill, like grinding it away, and then slowly letting it down. And doing the same over and over. Yeah,
it's like he's like fucking grinding his like Madra.
Yep, it's basically a technique to make his cores bigger. Yeah.
It's like describes for like grinding out his core to be like bigger and bigger and bigger.
Because his like current issue is he doesn't have enough Madra. And Ethan is like there are because he's like. If this doesn't work for you, if you can't, like, keep this up and stuff.
Yeah, because it's, like, other, like, different types of, like, jade that could have different effects. Like, some let you, like, restore Madra super quickly, but others, like, just give you, like, more Madra or whatever.
Yeah. Here it is. Some are particularly good at processing or efficiently help you recover your Madra in minutes and so on. But Ethan's like, but this is like, why would you need recovery if you have like more than you could ever use or whatever? And this is basically and it's also because he's like has two smaller cores. It will help him get both of his cores
up to sort of like a normal size. Yeah.
So it's kind of perfect, except for it's difficult to do.
Right. Yeah, because he has to do like a breathing technique that makes him feel like he's fucking suffocating the whole time, essentially.
Yep, so it's that whole thing. The Heaven and Earth Purification Wheel is the
name of it.
Yep. Slowly grinds away at your core's borders, focused entirely on improving your capacity to contain Madra. It does what you tried to do by forging and swallowing your own scales. It uses temporary power to push at the bonds of your core, expanding your ability to permanently store power. But while swallowing scales loses some energy in the forging process, this keeps the entire cycle contained, so there's no loss.
Yeah, just like slowly sort of like forcing it just like a little, because it's like you gotta go slow and like stretch it out. I think about you like stretching your ears. Yeah. You know, you gotta go slow. If you go too fast, it could hurt.
Just tears it.
If you go too slow, then you're not really like...
It's not doing anything.
Yeah. Just gotta slowly expand it out.
Yep. It's also slow, difficult to practice, and you'll feel like you're choking and dying.
Yeah.
But it works with any Madra, including Pure, and if you fill your second core with another path, this technique will work for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Yep.
And so he's, like, trying to use it and stuff, and it's rough, but, you know, he's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Ethan tells him, like, you might want to avoid wearing that ring of yours for the time being, like, because it's already, like, this technique's already, like, hard enough and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Lyndon was going to follow that, and then he decides, no, he's going to wear his parasite ring anyway.
Yeah.
Because he feels Suriel's marble, and is like, well, Ethan's not Suriel, so, like, I need to reach higher.
It's like I need to go even further than he's
Yep.
trying to, like, push me.
Yep.
So... But part of me is also like, you know, Ethan's fucking reverse psychology and him being...
to use it.
To use it, you know, to be like, no, don't use it.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. And then he's like, you're going to keep cycling, aren't you? You're not going to slack off when my back is turned? Your back is never turned, Lyndon said. And don't forget it.
Yep. Always watching. Yeah, that would also suck.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yep. And that's the end of chapter 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. In my head, I'm thinking also about, like, dough. It's, like, slowly, like, stretching dough out to get it, like, both out, like, tearing it or whatever.
Yeah, Ethan's like, do it as slow as possible.
As slow as possible. For some reason, that really, like, does have, like, an image in my head of just, like, this, like, circle, just, like, slowly, like... Grinding out, like, a bigger and bigger, like, circle for itself, you know? And I can just kind of, like, see it doing that.
Yep.
Stone, like a mill.
Yeah.
Like a millstone, just... Yep. So that's chapter 6.
Yeah.
Chapter 7.
Yeah.
And we are gonna cut this one short.
We're gonna split it.
We're gonna split it. We were gonna go to 11, but it's already getting to be... We've been very tangenty and long, and we're getting tired and stuff. So we're gonna
do this last chapter.
Do this last chapter, and then next time we'll probably do, you know.
Yeah, we'll probably split it into 3, like we should have done.
Yeah, but you know, but I am, you know, it was exciting.
Yeah,
it was exciting stuff to like get to, and so it's nice to like have it, even if it's like not all in this episode. So, but yeah, we actually start in Cassius's perspective, which is interesting, and I really wasn't expecting it. I wasn't at all expecting to get this guy's perspective, and he was like gonna be
he was supposed to be the patriarch
for like this part
he's basically the heir of like for this branch
because it's like the whole like branch stuff is what kind of, because like when it's like, oh, he's the patriarch, I'm like, oh, so he's the head of like the whole fucking family,
right.
But guess
it's the patriarch of the branch family and there doesn't seem to be like a lot of contact between like this part of the family and like the part of the family that he came from,
that Ethan came from. And like he came from like the main branch or just another like...
I believe it was the main branch. It was the main branch. And because does he say how they found Ethan?
Yeah, because I know that gets like talked about some, but I don't know if that's this section or like a later chapter.
Yeah, it might be, because there's a few. We're in Cassius's point of view for a couple.
Right. Yeah, we're in his point of view later, and sort of like the last chapter that we read, I think we sort of like end in his perspective or something like that. So it's like trying to remember which section it actually is.
What were we saying?
That like Ethan came from like the main branch and like how did he get here?
I'm sorry. I'm a little sleepy.
Yeah, we're getting towards we're winding down. Yeah. That's why we're splitting it up. Yeah.
So we're with Cassius, and he's like
he's like thinking about how he was gonna be
the patriarch.
But then like Ethan just kind of like showed up and took over.
Yeah. Yes. Cassius was born to be the patriarch of the Aurelius family. And just like he was a direct descendant of the bloodline, his appearance and conduct were impeccable. And he had impressed everyone with the sacred arts, but none of that had been good enough for Jing's family before Ethan took his side. He traded away his position as patriarch's heir with a smile on his face. But he still is like
there's like a little attention.
But the occasional reminder could still sting.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're on what should have been his ship.
Right.
But it's Ethan's now. And it's like, he's really grateful to Ethan for, like, helping him, like, be able to get married to Jing. And, like...
Yeah, have his sort of, like, family.
His family and everything. But also, like... He doesn't really think Ethan's taking the patriarch thing seriously, but also he goes off and,
Yeah, because he just goes off and does, like, random wild shit like this. Yep. Like, we had to go fucking find him and,
Yeah, because he's like, my family just moved, like, with me to, like, Serpent's Grave, and then I had to leave for 2 months to get our Underlord, and, like...
Yeah, it's a whole deal.
Yeah, it's like, I'm grateful, but, like, and
he also gives us a little bit of insight into, like, the Aurelius family, like, path.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we get, like, a range for Ethan's, like, ability to just kind of, like, know things. It's like it basically like a football field. He has, like, a football field's radius around him where he just kind of, like, knows what's going on in that zone. While he can, if he, like, focuses... He can know about things, like, farther. He can see things, that, like, farther than that if he's, like, focusing on that, but just sort of, like, he has a blanket sort of, like...
Yeah, he saw everything within 100 yards without even trying. Like, saw and heard everything. And can stretch his web to a target miles away if he's focused.
Yep, because Cassius can just kind of, like, focus, like, lines of, like, sight and hearing. Like, he can... see and know things within, like, if you, like... They always sort of describe as, like, putting out, like, lines of
like, perception.
To sort of, like, I can look that way if I'm, like, trying, but he can just see in a radius around him for, like, pretty... Because, like, a full fucking, like, football field, not counting the end zones. Just, like, of perception is pretty wild for just, like, without trying. And of course, see, this is why it was important that we get to this chapter, actually, is because of my Ethan theory. Because there's this whole thing about, like, oh, how far can he see? Yeah. And Ethan's like, they say that the Aurelius clan...
patriarch could
watch over his descendants even after he had passed or whatever. Like, the founder of the Aurelius clan could, like, see even after death, could, like, keep an eye on the family even after death. And so I'm like, I think that Ethan just is that guy.
Got you.
That I'm just like, Ethan just is the founder of the Aurelius clan. He's the fucking broom sage or whatever it was, and that he's more powerful, and that, like, because he just shows up. He just shows up and he's, like, keeping an eye on the family even afterwards. Yeah. And so I'm like, I feel like there's something going on with him. My Because all I have is that, like, oh, Ethan is stronger than he lets on. And I got that from, like, you talking about stuff. And we've already, like, seen him doing that in the previous book. So maybe that was just it. But part of me is like, no, he's still even stronger than he's, like, letting on right now. So
he definitely tries to put that on.
Yep, so I'm just like, he's, like, the fucking founder of this family or some shit. And that's why... he's, like, being all cheeky and saying this stuff. That's my, like, crack theory. Yeah. And I'm sure Ethan would love that, but whether or not it's true, we'll see.
Yeah. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And then they talk about Lyndon and Yaren and their training, and Cassius is like, you're going too far.
Yeah. So first he, like, checks out the training course. He, like, it's like...
Yeah, because he's like, this is my training course.
Yeah. Well, he checks it for, like, traps. He's, like, checking it, He finished in a few seconds, confirming what he suspected. Because he knew Ethan was listening, he shook his head and sighed. You're not trying to kill him? Of course I'm not. When a mother bird pushes a chick from the nest, is she trying to kill her child? That's a low gold course. I trained on something similar until a few years ago. And he's like, yep, this is your course.
You trained on exactly this course until similar. Yep. Or until recently.
Yep. Which, like... Lyndon's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, an iron, like...
just, like, doing this course, considering...
yeah.
Because it's, like, Yaren's low gold, and she's, like, doing the same course,
Yeah.
But
like she can beat it pretty easily, like regularly. Like with the gold sign, it's difficult. But like
yeah, and then Lyndon's over here doing it just sort of on his own as like an iron.
Yep.
And not as well, but still doing it.
Which like that's
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of talking about like Lyndon and such, and like Cassie's like doesn't want him to get hurt, and is just like worried about like Ethan, like that he doesn't have like. He can't always tell what people's limits are, and just like
yes, you have highlighted here, you're teaching a child to wrestle by locking him in a closet with a wolf.
Which is like funny because like that is what he did to Lyndon immediately, was lock him in a closet with two sand vipers.
Yep.
And like remnants for weeks, for like 2 weeks.
Yep, it's like you're way closer than you even know to the truth.
And if Lyndon hadn't run away by now, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
But Cassius doesn't know that, so he's like
concerned,
out, like a little bit.
He is concerned, and you know what? He's probably right to be concerned. Normally,
most people are not Lyndon.
Yes.
But yeah, so they're like kind of like talking about like his abilities, like or like, and Cassius is like, why didn't you just bring Yer in? Like she's like she's like a treasure in of herself. Like why are you worried so much about Lyndon? Like all of this, she was born for the sword arts, not just born. Ethan said, made. And Lyndon, so it's just like interesting because like he's kind of trying. It's like Yeren was made, so let's try and,
Yeah, and I'm like, what does that mean, though? The Yeren was, like, made for the sword arts.
I just like, assumed he was talking about, like the sword stage, just, like,
Yeah, I'm just always, like, poking for more Yeren backstory, because she's... Because I was joking with you that she's, it's like Sasuke Naruto.
Yeah.
She's fucking Sasuke Naruto. I named her after the two bravest men that I knew. Because she's both a Naruto in that she has this, like, demon locked inside of her. But she's also a Sasuke in that her whole family dead, it seemed. She has tragic my whole family dead backstory. Which, I mean, Naruto also... has but it's just sort of like it feels very Sasuke with like my whole family got murdered all around me. I just I woke up one day and my whole family's dead, as opposed to Naruto being like I never knew my family. And also the swordness of it all feels more edgy Sasuke vibes, so she's Sasuke Naruto. Sasuke Not okay. Not okay. She's not okay.
She's not. I mean.
Not okay.
Australian.
Yeah, an Australian. She's not okay.
That's great.
I'm like, part of me is like that should be the title, but that's not going to translate well. That's not going to come across well in text. She's Naruke. It's just like, and what does that mean? Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah.
So Cassie's kind of like thinking about like Lyndon. He had 2 half-sized cores filled with iron quality pure madra and an iron body that was far beyond his capacity to support. He knew Ethan must have led Lyndon to that particular iron body, but he didn't know why. Lyndon having to carry that body was like a child trying to control an underlord's weapon. They might be able to flail it around a little, but in the end, they would do more damage to themselves than anyone else.
Yeah, and then we get Ethan's plan for Lyndon, or at least some of it.
Yeah, he goes, imagine with me, will you? Imagine if he could restore each of those cores to full size and raise them to low gold. With pure Madra in one, he'd be a unique resource, and he could still follow a combat path in the other. That's 2 full cores, so he could bring out the full capabilities of the blood-forged body with energy to spare. It's a delightful vision. In 10 or 15 years, he'd be, all of that, but he won't be ready in a year. But you haven't heard about his second path.
It's like, what's the second path gonna be? It's like, oh,
Yep.
The path that created the Blackflame Empire.
The Blackflame.
But also killed the Blackflame Empire.
Yep.
Well, not the Empire, just, the family.
Yeah. That used it because it ate their bodies.
Mm-hmm. It's like, but if you can regenerate your body while it's being eaten away,
and like pure Madra will help with like clearing out his like Madra channels and stuff.
Yeah, which is why it's like he's probably gonna just like keep it as like a second pure Madra. But I'm like, but what if he did do the Path of the White Fox, and then he's just like burning himself out?
Yeah.
It's like, some sort of crazy shit at the end.
Yep.
But anyway.
Yeah, I like this bit from Cassius. Please don't worry me like that. I almost believed you. Then you were almost correct.
Like, oh no, this isn't good.
He's not born of the Blackflame line. He couldn't handle the Madra. Didn't you wonder why I'd give him a top grade blood-forged iron body? But you can't get him the aura, unless you tucked a dragon away in the Serpent's Grave. And then he's like, you've planned this all out.
This is why we're going to Serpent's Grave.
And then he's like, the Branchheads will never allow it. The Skysworn will never allow it. The Emperor will never allow it. And, there's an old saying about asking forgiveness rather than permission. But the essence of it is, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
Which is so Ethan.
He really is just, I'm going to do what I want.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission.
Yep. But yeah, so it seems like the path of Blackflame is, people aren't happy about it.
Yeah, because it's like, this was the path that built this empire, but also, like, killed the royal family.
Yep.
The family that was, like, doing it, and so now there's, like, a new family.
Yeah, the new royal family.
And so it's like, if suddenly you show up... I'm thinking about Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
He's like... waving the flag of Manetheren.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Manetherin's gone?
Yeah.
That's what this place used to be? And so that's a little, it's a little,
You're in Andor now?
You're in yep.
This is Andor.
This is Andor now, not Manetheren. I guess this is still the Black Flame Empire, but the Black Flames, they're not here anymore.
Yep.
We're here.
It's the Naru.
It's the Naru.
But we call it the Black Flame Empire.
And if you're the only one who's actually using Black Flames, the Black Flame Empire looks pretty bad for us. Yeah, it's it all makes sense.
Yeah, and so then there's kind of more of Cassius thinking. Cassius had given up his spot in the family for Ethan. He had suffered for Ethan's mistakes, taken the heat of family's anger over Ethan's childish whims, and hauled his family halfway across the Empire to Serpent's Grave, and then left them again because Ethan had wandered off. But even he had his limits. His shouts woke Fisher Gesha. She made it to the top of the stairs to see the Underlord with a hand over Cassius's mouth, stopping him from calling out to Lyndon. He's trying so hard to warn Lyndon.
Yep.
And it's sweet.
Yep, it's like, no, not now, not yet. Shush. No spoilers.
Yep. Cassius hadn't even gotten a chance to draw his sword. Ethan had seen every movement coming, broken his techniques before they formed, broken his stance, and broken the flow of his Madra.
Because he's Kakashi.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like, he's very...
Because I always forget that was, like, the thing originally with, like, Kakashi and having the one Sharingan, he was the copy ninja.
Yeah.
And so he could, like, he couldn't read what you were going to do, but he could see it as it was happening and, like, do it so fast. Because I always remember he does the fucking thing where he, like, copies the, like, fucking water dragon thing that the guy does, and they, like, run into each other. Yeah. It's like, that was so cool.
There's some definite, like, Team 7 vibes, like, throughout this series. But, like, if they were friends.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks to say, but, like, it really is Team 7 vibes if they were friends.
Because, like, truly it is that Lyndon is Naruto, because Naruto's thing initially he's way weaker. He's way weaker. He doesn't have as much chakra as everyone else. And so then, of course, how does he end up getting more chakra? Yeah. The fucking... He makes a pact with... with Kyubey, with Kurama, and so it's like, I should have known what was going to happen, but we'll get to that next time. And so that means that Yaren is Sasuke. And so if...
Because it's also, like, the rival, like, relationship and stuff.
So who's going to be our Sakura? The River Seed. The Sylvan River Seed's going to be our Sakura. Because it's like... Well, because it's like, so who's going to be our Sakura? And so, like, what's the archetype that Sakura fits besides just being the girl?
Right.
And the answer is the girl. She's the healer because girl is healer.
That it annoyed me so much because Tsunade was so cool and so strong, and then literally she's the strongest. Like she's like her taijutsu is like like she's so strong, and Sakura learned from her and became super strong taijutsu, and then never uses it, and then it's only healing. She can only heal because lady only heal.
Yeah, it's like I know that like there's that one guy who I've like talked about before, and like showing you some of his like clips. Yeah. He's on that like anime podcast or whatever. He's talked about how like Sakura is just like so strong and cool and awesome, and like, just like.
If she was used in an interesting way at all, like she would be a great character. Like actually,
yeah, it's like I hate to break it to you, but she's like the strongest physically.
She absolutely is the strongest physically.
Yeah.
And she does like the most training, the most studying. She's like the smartest. Like she has like the best. I want to say Madra control, but it's chakra control.
Right.
Like that's like the whole thing. Is she's like great with that like super detailed work.
Right.
Like,
and she can also like I know she can like super like heal herself or something.
Yeah.
Essentially because of the shit that she's
does
later or whatever. Like he talked about it some, but it's like some shit.
Like she's like a crazy healer and stuff. Like that's like cool. But that's all she gets to do. She only gets to heal. She doesn't get to go...
Right, but it's like she has some sort of healing thing such that, like, if she were to, like, get seriously injured, she, like, heals super quickly or something.
I don't remember...
what the deal is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, so I guess, like, our Sakura would still be, like, a healer and maybe, like, short temper. Because that was, like, part of Sakura's thing. She had the whole, like... The angry Sakura inside of her or whatever. Yeah. That sort of stopped being a thing so much, but yeah. It's like angry healer lady.
Yeah.
But, you know, because like Sakura was cool, but also I never like got to that part of Naruto. I'm like, who's our Sakura gonna be? Unless it's like, because in some ways it's like Yaren's just all of them in one.
Yeah.
You know, she's already our strong cranky lady.
Yeah.
While also being our edgy Sasuke.
It's annoying because Sakura is strong.
Yeah.
But she's never portrayed that way.
Yeah.
It's like, you can, like, infer it from, like, oh, she trained with Tsunade, and, like, this is, like the feat stuff that, like, power scalers, you know, do. Like, but, like, when it comes to actual plot-relevant fights... Yeah. Zero.
Right.
Like, I can't think of any.
Right.
I can't think of a single good...
Like her getting to like take on like a major like antagonist.
I can't think of any.
Yeah.
Or even that she like helped in any of them. Other than like healing.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I can't. She like gets separated off, and then it's either Naruto or Sasuke or both. Right. You know, like it's
yeah, the show
or Kakashi or Itachi or you know.
Yeah, because it does become like the Naruto Sasuke show.
Yeah.
And then like at the end it's like, and then we're gonna fight each other over who gets to be Hokage because you wanted to be Hokage, I guess.
Yeah.
Sasuke's like, suddenly I want to be Hokage because we need to have one last fight about something. We were never friends.
I do have to admit, I fell off in the middle of that final war arc, so I have not actually seen the ending, but I know, like, I've like looked up the ending and stuff, because I just, like, I got done with the war.
Yeah.
Like, it got to, like, the alien lady.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care anymore. Yeah. I cared about Madara, I cared about, like, literally everything else.
Yeah, she's like a moon lady or something.
I didn't give a shit about Moon Lady.
Kaguya.
Yeah, I didn't, like, fully...
I only know that because I'm like, Kaguya is the name of like, a moon lady from Japanese
like mythology,
which, like, comes up in Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Yeah. Like, Kaguya is, like, a, like, like, used, like, in, like, all sorts of...
Yeah, because it's, like, I know that, like, Naruto, like, he does... he does his sexy jutsu, but it's a bunch of sexy men on her at one point, and then like hits her.
Yeah.
And it's like
because I've not actually seen that fight. Because,
I haven't seen that fight, but I've seen that like clip around.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's like They're like, this is stupid, it's not gonna work, and then it actually, like, works on her, and everyone's like, oh my fucking god.
Which,
And,
like, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like, stopped caring.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Like, like, when that, like, fight first started, I was just like... I kind of don't care.
Yeah. Who gives a shit, actually?
Like, we had a whole other war happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Naruto goes off the rails, from what I understand. I never got that far in Naruto. And now I'm reading this instead. But yeah, where were we in the actual chapter? I think we, like, got through all that,
finished, like, Cassius's stuff.
Cassius and Nathan's stuff, and so now, like, we're with Linden, and...
They're running the course for last time. He, like, is able to run through it. Yaren gets, like, 6 through, and, like, she can't. And she's, like, screams. She's super annoyed that she can't.
Yep, and this is where we actually get the thing that I've been talking about, where it's, like, the whole, like, I can... This remnant is my master, and so, like, I can't just, like, absorb it and, like, fully, like, consume it and subsume it. I have to, like, listen to it because it's, like, it's my master trying to teach me something.
Yeah. And he was a sage, and so he must know, and, like, his remnant's different, and, like, it's very, like, grief, you know?
Yeah, because it's, like, we know that, like, remnants, like, as soon as a remnant forms, it just starts doing shit. It's like it's kind of like random whether it like you know
but
it'll
she's
attack
like, well,
you or wander off.
He was a sage, so like it doesn't like it's different.
It's different.
You know, like,
it's special. It's something you know.
Like and he knew like so much, and like I should have just followed his advice. Like you know.
And my fucking blood madra belt thing is whispering to me, and this sounds kind of like that, so it's the same.
Yeah.
So it's like he's in there and he's talking to me.
Yep.
And Nathan's just like. Please.
Yeah, he's like, it's hard enough. Yeah, because he goes like, it's hard enough, like with 2 voices or whatever. And she goes, well, I don't have 2, I have more. You know, like, and it's like, and I can deal with it. You know.
Yep.
I know how to do this without being distracted, and like, I can learn from him. And like, who are you to like? You're not a sage. You're not. You know.
You don't know shit, and it's like we definitely get this sense that like I'm definitely getting the sense that sage is like one of these like levels beyond like lord.
Yeah.
You know, beyond, like, Underlord is, like, Sage. Because I assume that's, like, Underlord, Overlord.
Yeah,
and then maybe Sage.
I'll give you that one, because we've gotten someone labeled as an Overlord.
Gotcha, yeah. It's, like, that, you know, and then I'm like, is there another Lord? Because there's, like, Low Gold, High Gold, True Gold.
Yeah.
Is there another Lord? I don't know. But, like, Sage definitely seems like it's something, like, above that. And I'm like, it seems like it's maybe the highest thing that we've kind of heard so far, like, a name for.
Yeah.
But I don't know what would be, like, beyond it.
Yeah.
Maybe beyond, say, just, like, surreal shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. But...
I like all the like, power theories and
Sacred
stuff.
Valley is protected because it's cursed. So I'm like, does that have something to do with how these fucking nobodies were able to kill a sage? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are thoughts.
I like the thoughts.
Yep.
Can't say much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Ethan hears Linden talking about like how the heavens like opened up and like he had this like encounter with Suriel and stuff.
Yeah, so like Yaren and Linden are like kind of talking, and Linden's like she doesn't need just like someone to vent to. She needs like some actual cheering up with this, and it's like, you know, like, why are you comparing to, like, how much progress I've been making? Like, I was barely able to take on 8-year-olds a few months ago. Like,
right.
Like, you're good. And she's like, don't try and polish me up, you know, like,
like,
and, you know, it makes her feel, you know, like, a bit better and stuff. And, because then Linden goes, I'm not polishing anything. The heavens opened up and showed me visions of all the greatest people on the planet. People who can wrestle dragons and strike down armies. Then they brought me to you. You're all so far above me, you might as well be stars.
Yeah. And then Nathan's like, what's this about the heavens?
He intended to leave the children to their little moment. They would need to trust each other even more than they trusted him. And trust was always built on small, personal moments. But a phrase caught his ear. The heavens opened up and showed me. He'd wondered from the first glimpse of that little glass ball in Linden's pocket, the one with the steady blue flame, he'd wondered. Some of the boy's comments, some of his actions, had made him more and more certain. And now he knew. The heavens opened up. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah, because I'm like, he has some sense of this shit. it seems.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's way above anything we've seen. So I'm like, he knows
something.
He knows something. He knows he's beyond what we think he is.
Yeah.
Even now, I feel. I'm just like,
yeah.
What's your deal, man?
Yep. What's your deal?
What's your deal? Yeah. Yeah, so that's chapter 7. You have anything else you want to say about the chapter? Or...
Nah.
Alrighty.
I think we're good.
Yeah, so that's gonna do it for the chapter by chapter of this episode. We'll get to the rest of what we already read next time, as well as reading ahead a little bit.
Yeah, we'll read a few more chapters and
probably like another like
3, 4, 2.
Well, because we read to 11.
Yeah.
So that would be 4 chapters from where we are.
Yeah.
This is 7. So then, like, I guess another, like, 3.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, split into 3. This is what we should do with these. Split into 3 or, like, 4 when they get a little bit bigger.
Yep. But I did enjoy reading a little bit of extra that we did do, though. So. Yeah. Alrighty. And so, what we've been reading.
Yeah. I don't think I've really been...
Reading anything?
No, I think I was just watching some people react to One Piece. That's what I've been listening to at work. I've been listening to someone react to One Piece, which has been very fun. She's been a good reaction channel.
Yeah. And I don't think I've read any more Wheel of Time since we last talked. Yeah, I don't think so. I think, like, the only thing I've been listening to at work, I recently was listening to Barry Kramer explain,
It's Flexi J Anime is the reactor to One Piece. She's only through, like, Logtown right now.
Gotcha.
But, like, it's just super into, like, the characters, and it just has good, like, analysis and stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah, I was listening to, like, Barry Kramer explain Metal Gear to his friends, which was fun. And we were actually watching that before we started recording this. Because Metal Gear, it's a time. It's wild. It's weird.
Never played any of them, but I've seen, I've seen people talk about them and stuff over the years and everything.
I've also never played them, but I have watched Barry play, like, 3 of the games.
Yeah.
I've watched him play Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, but not 4. Because 4 is the long, arduous one.
Got you. Was it 5 that came out, like, more recently that people were, like, not a fan of because it wasn't, they, like, took it from him in the middle of production?
Yeah, it's like 5 just, like, wasn't, like, finished, really. Yeah. Like, it got, like, cut down and it just didn't get quite, like, finished.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they, like, kicked Kojima off, and, like, because that was when, like, everyone was, like, when what's name did, like, free Kojima and shit at Game Awards.
Yeah. It was like,
like, he wasn't allowed to, like, talk to the public for, like, months or some shit because he was on an old contract with Konami.
Yeah, when all the, like, weird...
Yeah, it was fuck Konami, that's what it was. It was, like, a...
Yeah, because it's, like, he was having his, like, troubles with them, and then there was the whole, like, Silent Hills thing.
Yeah.
And then eventually he went off and did his own thing.
Yeah, and that game, that horror game that everyone was sad about.
Yeah, Silent Hills, because it was, like, PT.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, PT happened, and everyone loved it, and it was, like, Silent Hills, and then that never happened
because, like, PT got completely deleted from everything.
Yeah.
Like, you can't...
My buddy Evan, for a while, he had it, like, downloaded, and he was like, I have one of the few that, like, still has it, but it's, like, but then, like, as soon as it restarted for some reason, it's, like, just gone or whatever.
That's so sad.
Yeah, because it was, like...
Yep.
Because
I remember when that, like, game, like, went around, everyone, like, loved it and was, like, so upset when all that happened.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. And people have theories.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's, like, a whole harebrained theory about how, like, PT is, like, like, a secret message about, like, fuck Konami, and, there never was gonna be Silent Hills, like, he knew that wasn't gonna happen, and so
but he
released this, and
but they never wanted him to release it, but, you know.
And it's a metaphor about, his relationship to Konami and stuff, and it's just like...
I think it's more of his fucked up horror.
Yeah, it's also like, you know, some of the themes that they like talk about, I'm like, yeah, those are just normal Kojima themes.
Yeah.
Kojima's always weird about dads and shit. You know, this isn't about being mad at Papa Konami. This is just that, like,
just his,
he always has weird parental shit. Boy, does he have weird parental shit in his games. We'll get to that. They say that a lot in the video.
Got you, yeah.
Because there was a thing that, like, first he had his friend Gam explain Kingdom Hearts to him years ago.
Yeah.
And he was always saying, we'll get to that. And so then it's just sort of become a thing. So that's what I've been, like, listening to lately. And also, like, One Piece has been good lately. Yeah. That last chapter?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Very crazy.
Yeah, that's all. See, what we've been reading always in the background is
One Piece.
If there's been a new One Piece chapter, we read that too.
It was what, 11:49,
I think. It was a chapter.
Yeah.
It was quite a chapter. 11:49. Boy, oh boy, was it a chapter.
Yeah.
But I won't get into it for spoilers or whatever.
Yeah, I think, like, the official only came out yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, because we always read the early, like,
so
scans.
Technically the official's out, so.
Yeah.
It's, people tend to be okay with spoilers once the official's out. As long as they're labeled.
Right, so, it's some spoilers, alright. Although it's still, like, so vague that we don't even really, like, know.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Yep, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's, like, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for chapter 1149 of One Piece.
Of One Piece. Gunko and Brook have some sort of history.
Yeah.
And, like, I've seen... And, like, it's funny because, like, we watched Tekking's video, and he has theories about it. And then I watched...
That's, like, Yorkie's...
It's, like, Yorkie's kid.
Yeah.
And then I watched, like, Murphy's video. Murphy's been hearing theories about, like... something completely different. Where it's like, oh, if Brook was, like, part of, like, a battle convoy, it's like, if he was, like, protecting some sort of royal family...
Oh, yeah, could have been...
some sort of, like, royal family kid that he just sort of, like, was around and was, like, a father figure towards.
That's interesting.
But she also kind of leans towards Gunko literally being his, like, biological child, which I do not.
They don't look alike.
They don't look alike?
And Oda really
kind of, like, leans on that more.
Yeah.
And also it's just sort of like, she's yelling father in the one flashback, and then but then she's just, like, saying Brook. She's not saying father towards Brook in the present. Right. She's just saying, Brook, is that you?
Yeah.
So I feel like Brook is more just sort of, like, someone that she was, like, around. Someone that she, like, looked up to as a kid. Because I would also explain, because it's like, if Brook had a fucking daughter, he would have mentioned it.
Yeah.
You probably would have just, like, mentioned it.
And also, like, I mean, like, with the immortality, it doesn't really matter, but, like, just, like, with how, like, the age-wise and stuff, because he's, like, 90.
Yeah, it's like, he's, like, 90, and if he had a child, she'd still potentially be, like, alive, like, and stuff.
Right, and, like, in probably like, his 60s, though.
Yeah.
You know, like, or, like, 60s, 70s, like, how old is...
Right, this, like, child or whatever.
Right.
But you'd still think that he would have, like, mentioned it.
Right.
You know?
You're like, I have a kid out there somewhere,
like,
you know, like...
Like, even if you just, even just, like, an oblique reference to family.
Yeah.
Because it's always the crew in Laboon. Yep. Never...
Like, any family.
Any, like, family, so it's like... You know, even if there'd been, like, an oblique reference to, like, oh, I had a family, they're probably dead by now, too. You know, it's like, I feel like she's probably not, like, any sort of blood relation to him.
Yeah.
But it's like, Tekking's like, oh, maybe it's Yorkie's kid. And she's like, maybe it's, like, some sort of royal family kid.
I feel like both of those are good, kind of...
Like, options, possibilities.
I feel like they're both kind of, like, equally possible with the information we have.
Yeah. So it's just, like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It was just like, holy shit. Because everyone was like, when are we going to get the, like, because she listens to Soul King's music. Like, she's going to be like a fangirl. It's going to be a whole thing. And then it's like, oh, I guess it doesn't happen. It's like, nope.
Oh, no, there's the broken Gunko stuff.
There's the broken Gunko stuff.
We've been wondering what the fuck's happening.
Yep, so it's just like, it's crazy. And then not even to mention all the Scopper stuff, which Murphy loved. She really loved all the Scopper stuff because it was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we've been reading. One Piece. It's always One Piece. You can just, like, safely assume that we
were reading One Piece.
They were reading One Piece. If there's been a new chapter, we've read it. Because that being caught up life.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, but then also you have to wait.
It's funny because the only bit of the manga that I've actually, like, read is, like,
Current.
Egghead onward.
Yeah.
Because that's when I got caught up.
I've read, because I caught up in Wano, and then, I caught up mid-Wano,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like, right at the end of Wano, I stopped reading until Egghead was almost done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when did we catch up on Egghead?
I don't know.
Because it was, like, halfway, I think. Kuma's backstory was out.
Yeah, because we read Kuma's backstory
Right.
week to week, but I don't remember when exactly we started, like, reading it week to week and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it was, like, we got to the end of Wano in, like, the anime.
Yeah.
And then it's like, alright, I guess I'm gonna start reading Egghead.
Yeah,
or something.
Yep, and then, because then I think probably, like, 3/4 of Egghead were out at the time. Because, like, I remember us, like, because we caught up...
Right, because I think I, like, got caught
like,
up...
with the Gorosei showing up and shit. Like,
Yes.
we were reading that week to week.
Yes, because like, I seem to remember, like, I finally got, like, caught up, and then I was, like... And then we got, like, the revelation about, like, the world sinking.
Yeah. Was, like, the most recent chapter when we caught up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember, like,
It was, like,
wanting to
wild.
put in,
Yeah.
like, the group chat being, like, what a time for me to get caught up on One Piece. You know,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but then I'd have to, like, try and explain this, like, spoiler or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, like, a little over halfway
Mm-hmm.
through Egghead. Yeah, so I've read from, like, Luffy was, like, in prison at Wano
Mm-hmm.
to Egghead.
Speaking of One Piece, my One Piece alarm went off because it's 9 o'clock.
And then I've also read the beginning through, halfway through Alabasta. Because I did a reread after I watched
Gotcha.
the anime, but I only read through Alabasta.
Gotcha.
So there's a section of the manga I have not read.
Yeah.
A fairly big section of the manga I haven't read.
Right.
But, like, the beginning and the end,
Mm-hmm.
and I've watched, like, the whole anime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I need to go back and, like, read from the beginning at some point, but
Yeah.
that'd be, like, a whole endeavor. You
Yeah, I
know?
was, like, rereading the beginning and taking some, like, screenshots and cleaning up some, like, manga. I was, like, editing some manga panels and stuff to,
Yeah.
like, make backgrounds and stuff like that. Like, so I was rereading and, like, taking pictures to edit, or, like,
Right.
screenshots to edit and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's been us,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep. This is a little bit longer than we've done in a little while.
Yeah, we were very tangenty
Yeah.
today. This is another one of those, theoretically, this is a podcast
Right.
about books
Right.
episodes. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's been fun.
yeah, this has been Let's Talk About Book. And now you can go forth and think about book on your own time. Have a lovely whatever time it is.
Have a lovely.
Yeah, and do all the YouTube things.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, at the beginning or anything.
Or maybe I did. That was yesterday, so I don't remember. But anyway.
Yeah.
Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye.